crossover.
Crossover.
Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Crossover is brought to you by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha, everlowconcrete.com. People that are watching on 1620 The Zone TV.
Here's one thing you got to know about me. All right.
I know a lot about you.
I
don't know enough.
am the number one person who succumbs to peer pressure. You could peer pressure me into just about anything.
Yeah.
Just about anything.
I didn't know that when I made this offer.
And so when two people at least said, you won't wear that during the show today.
You said, yes, I will.
I said, I bet I will. And they were like, the whole time? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, the whole time?
I bet you won't call yourself a little baby panda on the radio. And I said, oh, I won't.
I like pandas.
Pandas are fake. People think that birds are fake. Pandas are fake.
Pandas are very real. I've
Fake.
seen pandas.
Whoa, hold
I've never
on
been to
here.
Omaha's Henry Dorley Zoo.
I've never been.
Well,
It's the best zoo in the world.
See the panda.
It's like the third. But it's
not the third.
I bet it's great.
There's no
I bet it's
world
great.
where it's the third.
It's the best
at
zoo
the very
in the
least
world.
the second.
I'm kidding. I'm
There's
riling people up.
No world where
I
it's
want to
the
go.
third.
I want to go. I'm excited to go.
You said pandas are fake?
I mean, like, how did they survive? They're useless. They don't eat. I mean, they eat bamboo.
They
How
eat
did-
a
how
bunch.
are they-
All they do
How
is
are they
eat.
not all extinct? Are you telling me? I mean, those guys.
They're very close.
How did they
They
survive?
are. They. I
How
don't
did they
know.
survive?
It's really impressive.
You see them in the zoo and they're useless. They're rolling around. They're eating the bamboo. They don't look predatory.
What would you like them to do? To run for office?
You
That's
see
my
you see a
shtick.
lion. You see a lion in a zoo, and you're like, oh no, I don't want it. It's like, in in Goodfellas when they go to the Tampa Bay Zoo and they dump the guy in the lion's den. Like they're not dumping them in the panda den, right? Like how did they survive?
Okay, that's true.
Pandas are so cute. Pandas are so funny because they.
So you want to go in the
look
panda
vulnerable.
den and just see what would happen?
They wouldn't do anything to me.
I don't.
I think that's.
I think they
do
would be a little
that.
disturbed.
They could. It could. I mean, you ever hear of a kid fell in the den of a panda exhibit and they had to shoot the panda because it was threatening?
Oh,
They're apparently very
I hate to hear
strong,
that.
It says.
Yes,
according
they're
to Google.
strong.
and they have and they're cute, thick bones.
I could beat up a
They
panda.
roll around in the snow and
They
we
could-
go, oh.
The panda might not want to kill you, but you can't kill the
That's
panda.
what it says.
I could kill
Yeah.
the panda.
No, you couldn't.
It says that they don't want to fight, but they will. And they're very strong.
That's right.
See, people are crazy though. Like they're like, I could box a kangaroo. Kangaroo could beat the crap out of you.
Absolutely, they could.
Kangaroos are big boys.
No, they are big boys.
Big boys.
Are kangaroos big boys?
Yes.
Big boys.
Full question.
Oh, gosh.
Would that be if if the rapper did not go with Big Boy, would he have been Kangaroo?
Yeah,
No, it would have
big
been.
kangaroo.
It would have been a fat panda.
I learned that very early in life when I watched Kangaroo Jack. One of my favorite movies of all time.
Has Connor seen Goodfellas? No. Has he seen Kangaroo Jack?
Many times.
You betcha.
Many
You
times.
haven't seen Goodfellas?
I don't think so. No, I watched The Godfather a couple years ago.
That's right. I made him.
Josh
I-
made me do
well,
I
it.
had a
I'm
slice of pizza.
Peer
It was
pressure,
good.
Hey, I got a Godfather this weekend is on the docket. So
What does that mean?
it's on the
Godfather's
list.
Pizza?
No. It's on a list. I got a list of things I got to do, and that's Godfather 1, and the next weekend's Godfather 2.
All right.
Because you've seen them and love them?
No, because I haven't seen them,
Oh,
and I have to be.
This is
educated.
before learning about Charlie Weiss's existence.
Yeah, that was a rough one. You don't have to.
we need to put that on the resume.
We don't have to. We don't have
Have
to.
you seen The Godfather?
We have knows who Charlie Weiss is. That's on the resume. Yeah,
Are
we
you
don't
going to
have-
go to Blockbuster and rent it, or?
No, I'll just buy. I buy it on YouTube. Just go on YouTube. You just de-doot, and then on YouTube it tells you if it's on a streaming service. So if it's on the streaming service,
It's on Paramount Plus.
then I don't own that. That's the one we don't own.
Paramount Plus is banging
Own.
right now.
Yeah, I think. Wait, actually, we do own Paramount Plus because Landman's on Paramount Plus, right?
Yes.
So we do
Jura
own
Jones.
because Dad's watching that right now. So
Everyone's dad is watching Land.
That is
or
true.
whatever it's
Whole
called.
question. Is everyone's dad watching Landman?
whose dad isn't watching Landman?
I found
Hey.
this new show, son. It's called Landman.
That and Tulsa King.
I'm
Is that
wondering-
the name of the
Hey.
show?
I'm wondering why they didn't send you to the patch to work I think I want to go visit Midland, Texas. And I'm going to be telling you somebody that's been through Midland. You don't.
No.
But here's the funny thing about Landman, as people have discovered it, is when Billy Bob Thornton was promoting it, he looks nothing like he did in the show.
What's Billy Bob looking like these days?
So he was wearing his earrings and
that's right.
Like he looked completely different.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I don't know if he's up for another role he's working on, but when he was out promoting Landman, he looks nothing like his character.
Did he get some work done?
I think so.
Obviously.
He's a big fan of the
hat.
Winter beanie, but a
hat,
not a cowboy hat,
yeah,
but a hat with a very round, large
Yes.
brim over the winter beanie.
Whoa.
So everybody expected, like when he's promoting this movie, he's going to look like
Billy Bob
he
Thornton.
did.
Yeah,
but he didn't look like when he was out promoting Sling Blade. I wanted to look like his character.
He got some work done.
Yeah.
His eyes are different.
Get some French fried potatoes and watch Sling Blade at
He-
the theater near you.
Yeah, he got
Never
Great
seen it.
performance in that movie.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Now back to what you're wearing here. So this is the Girl Scout cookies are about to come out. They're going to be outside of every dispensary in America, which is a smart play.
Smartest play ever.
Gas stations.
They have bunny ears now.
I don't know. It was on our desk. The Girl Scouts of America, all of them, they came by and they dropped off cookies.
Every Girl Scout of America
Yeah.
came to 1620.
They came by and dropped off cookies, and they left these with them.
But can we be a little selfish here? The cookies they dropped off were not the best.
Would have liked to have seen a wider
Yeah.
swath.
Was there?
Yeah.
Wait, are they
Variety.
gone? Are they gone?
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
gone.
Whoa,
I'm
what
in
the
with
heck? I didn't get the email.
there was no email. They were just there, and then they were gone.
They gave us
You
the
have
French
to act
toasties
quickly.
Yeah,
and the
they
Thin
didn't.
Mints.
They didn't bring the bangers.
Yeah.
What were the Samoas? Because that's the only
No.
one I
Whoa,
mess
hey,
with.
Good
whoa,
take.
whoa.
I only
Well,
But they
Caramel
didn't bring
Delights.
them.
Caramel Delights.
yeah.
Caramel Delights.
You're in Omaha now. It's
No.
Caramel Delights.
Caramel Delights.
I've never had one.
They're called Caramel
It's the
Delights.
same thing.
Well,
cookie.
wait. Oh, it's the Samoa is the caramel delight.
Yes,
Mhm.
Who's?
Same cookie. Different name regionally.
it's Dodge Street. They're honking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing.
They
that.
hear us. They want to say
Yeah.
hi.
No, it's a Samoan. Samoa.
It
never
was. It is no longer.
They're
Is it
retiring cookies.
really? What do they take?
They're going to put them in the Girl Scout Cookie
Yeah,
Hall
so
of Fame.
Change
they
the
said that
Thin
the French toasties are being discontinued.
So basically, they brought the ones that they're discontinuing to here. What does that say about us?
Well, I think you're trying to create demand. What you're trying.
Yeah.
Please
Aren't you?
order
This is
these
like-
because
this
you
is
will
like
never be able to
saving
get
your
them
favorite
again.
TV show.
Mhm.
It's like the
Like save
McRib.
your favorite Girl Scout cookie.
It's like the McRib.
Didn't they stop the tag along and then they brought the tag along back?
Yeah, it's like the McRib.
Yeah, it's a little bit like remember the Choco Taco? Like they said, we're no
Mhm.
longer
Oh,
doing
yeah.
Choco Tacos, and anyone who hadn't had a Choco Taco in the last decade was like, "How dare they? How
Okay.
could they take it away?"
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, "All right, we won't take it away," and then no one bought it, and they were like, "This is why we were discontinuing it."
Like when local restaurants close and people go, "Oh my gosh, how could you close that place? It's an institution." Well, when was the last time you were there? Well, 37 years ago. Okay.
Me and my
that's-
wife on our
that's probably
second
why.
anniversary went
Yeah.
there. How long you been married? 33 years. Speaking of restaurants, I was thinking about you guys in a good crossover topic.
Thank you.
So the
Topic
most,
alert.
because I went to a place that gets scorned by all three shows
Whoa.
because of their service and how long it takes.
Oh, I love
but the
Popeyes.
food is really good. That's who I'm talking about.
I love Popeyes too. I have nothing bad to say about them.
I
do
love Popeyes.
The most pro Popeyes show on 1620 The Zone.
100%.
Show.
Well,
would
I
agree.
guess you guys probably are. Too.
Not as I was like it was like one sided. Like I like Popeyes. The other
But Josh's love for Popeyes might actually be more intense than all of our love for Popeyes. But then the hatred that John shows
Sure.
toward
it
Popeyes
kind of washes out.
Yeah.
Okay, so
They feel the most about it.
what is the most likely fast food place in Omaha to screw up your order?
Oh,
And not just the food, like you might get somebody else's order or there's something missing. Or the bigger one, because I had this issue yesterday, because I was on the move and I wanted to eat in the car, which I don't normally do. I
do all the
got a diet soda, no straw.
Oh.
ouch.
Like everything else was right. It was
Crippling.
fresh. It was crispy. I don't get the fries because the fries at Popeyes don't travel very well, but everything else was good. No straw.
Straws in the
I
bag.
was triggered.
Straw was not in the bag.
I would get
Straw
triggered
was
too.
not in the bag. So the most likely fast food place in Omaha that's going to screw up your order.
This does not happen to me.
That a
I
place
am-
just-
I
You're
am-
saying this is a fake thing?
No.
Like Pandas?
No, it happens to people. It happens to everyone I know. I am hashtag blessed when it comes to
Wow.
food service. I don't know if it's a respect thing.
You have the kind of demeanor about you where it's like, I gotta make this guy happy.
Mhm.
He's not having a very good day, and so I need to make sure his order is right.
All right, there might be
Like
something
The
to that.
demeanor of I gotta make this guy happy.
See, I think
Which is
you're
why
onto
he's at
something
Gentleman's
because
Club.
I could see you turning into Michael Douglas's character from Fallen.
Because I go to these places and I'm very happy. I'm very jovial, and I say, I'd like a number 6 with a large fry and a Diet Coke. And they say, all right, this guy's already good. He doesn't, we can get him whatever he wants.
Yeah,
So
Josh walks in like Eeyore, and they're like, all right, we got to make sure we get this right. This is evil open fire.
oh no.
Hey, but okay, so when you get your order in a drive-through, do you look through the bag?
No, I'll eat whatever's in the bag. I don't care.
Because like I'll give a credit, like okay, so crumble cookie. Like crumble cookie will show you what your order is before they close the top.
Yeah.
Like when you go like to McDonald's, it's not like they go, okay, like they sit there and they wait for you. They're like, you got it, boom, you're out.
And
it goes back to your thing about the Uber Eats, like they're sealed.
Mm-hmm. And they, there's some places that have this sort of general vibe about them is like, we're trying to get you in and get you out. Like, so if you're sitting there at the end of the line after you paid for everything and received your food and you're looking through the bag of food, not very well looked upon.
No, but I'm a big receipt guy. Like I will always, before I leave, I will do the quick scan because that happens to me more. That happens to me more than it not being in the bag, it not being put on the receipt.
That's
happens
personal,
a lot more often.
Personal responsibility. You're like, what could I have done better?
Exactly.
Could I have better communicated what I want?
So
Did I want the grilled nuggets and not the fried nuggets?
Exactly. So I look at the receipt, and there have been multiple times where I go, no. I'll pull over to lane 1. You got to put my large orange juice. You got to get it to me right now. So that's, I know, and I was at the point living at where I lived in Skokie, Illinois, where I knew the ins and outs of every sort of fast food that I was eating there. I knew what was good. I knew it was bad. I knew at what time to go because I knew who was working.
Here's a text from Cats Are Funny.
Cats are funny.
Are they real compared to pandas? You think the thing about pandas? Do you think there's like a person that plays the role of a panda daily at zoos?
I think it's just a way for the government to get at you.
That has happened.
He just wants the pandas.
But that was with the bears in China, right?
The pandas aren't bothering you, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cats Are Funny says the issue is going through the drive-through. Always go to the counter. It's just not feasible. Not feasible. Cats Are Funny. Not feasible.
Not happening.
I'm sorry, we don't have all the time in the world like you.
Not feasible.
I went to my first during my lunch break while I was building my bed. I went to my first ever fast food place in Omaha. First time I ever got fast food. You want to guess where I went?
So you went to McDonald's on 24th and Coming.
I went to Casey's.
Oh, that's not fast food.
That's not fast food.
That's a gas
What
station.
do you mean? You go
Good
in.
food quickly.
Exactly. Thank you, Josh.
Casey's is not a fast food restaurant.
Hey, poll question. What is fast food? I mean, I got my food fast.
Does McDonald's sell gas?
I got my food fast.
Does McDonald's sell gas?
If McDonald's sold gas, they'd take over the world.
They should do that.
Oh my God, that'd be incredible.
They do.
The parking lots would be a mess.
They definitely are under oil as well. Holy crap! I think
we're gonna buy the land that you make the 10-cent burger on.
It's a dry heat.
There, you know what? You're onto something because there are like rest stops in this country that have a McDonald's connected.
Yeah.
Well, Buc-ee's is that fast food or is it? It's not slow food.
No, you're trying to get out on a technicality.
Convenience store?
It's not a fast food restaurant.
It is.
Casey's is a convenience store.
What is fast food?
Okay,
I get food fastly.
Did you grab it out of the warmer or did you order it?
No, I went up and I grabbed it out of the warmer and I went to the lady and she goes, okay. She scanned it and then I went to my car and I ate it. It's no different. It's no different.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, it doesn't.
Wait.
Just because
Let me ask you.
Just because you get it fast doesn't mean it's fast.
What do you mean? Yes, it does.
No, it's not.
What am I eating, Happer? What am I eating?
When?
What am I eating?
I don't know.
I'm eating food. I'm eating food. In what manner am I eating it in? I'm eating it fastly.
Technicality.
Did you go through a drive-through at Casey's?
Okay. Do you have to go to a drive-through when you go to McDonald's? You can go inside and you can get the food there.
But you can also go through the drive-through, right, for the convenience and the fast food?
No, there's no drive-through. What do you mean? Do you go to there's no drive-through for Five Guys?
That's not fast food.
That's not fast food.
That's fast casual.
Fast casual, yeah.
Is that a category?
Yes.
Okay, I'll surrender.
Chipotle, Qdoba.
I'll surrender.
Okay, they gave up quickly.
Surrender. Hey, this is 6 against Canese here. I'll surrender. Just give me half my money back.
So what'd you get at Casey's?
I got a piece of pizza. I got one. I didn't want to take.
What was on there?
Pepperoni.
Are you familiar with the lore of Casey's?
The what?
The lore?
The aura.
What, like the breakfast pizza?
Like they're famous for pizza.
Oh yeah, I mean
Okay.
I've been on DoorDash. I discovered when I was on DoorDash one day, and you could get a full Casey's pizza on DoorDash.
That's right.
And
You know
I
what-
was like,
You know
wow,
what we should
okay.
make you do as a
I'll
bit?
do it. I'll do it.
I know you will. That's why I'm about to say this. We should make you live in like Hastings for a week or something like that.
Ooh, fun.
And just see what would happen.
what?
The Casey's is your Target and your McDonald's.
Yeah. Not Hastings too big. You know.
Let's go like Ord.
Yeah. Further.
Like how about just a D2 school? I just go and live a D2 school town, and then I would not survive. I
Well,
don't know what
Kearney's
I would
too
do.
big.
Yeah.
Kearney's too big.
What I mean, as long as I got a Walmart there and Wi-Fi, I think I'd be okay.
I want to put you in a town that has a gas station, and that's it. And that gas station is Casey's. That's
and
where
then, and that's
Yeah,
I
Casey's where
wouldn't
the
do well.
bathroom is behind the register.
Mhm.
That is old school.
You got to get the key.
Yeah.
You gotta get Casey's is also your Starbucks.
Mhm.
That's what Charles says.
Yeah. Good shout, Charles.
Yeah, this is that's something. I'm sorry. I'm just I'm a big fitty boy. That's what I am.
I know. That's why I want to put you. It's many reality or just
I
television
don't
shows
think
have
it-
tried
I
this
don't-
concept
I
before,
don't
but I
think
think
it
it'd be good with you.
I don't think it would be that entertaining. I think I would just kind of be like, all right, hey guys, I woke up today. I did the show with Gary. Now I'm going to take a nap. All right. I did a bunch of push-ups and sit-ups. That's my workout for the day. I'm now going to go and get a 6-pack, and then I'll just go drink the 6-pack, get ready for the show Monday through Friday. That's it. I don't think there would be a lot of content there.
Okay.
I door dashed a pizza from Carter.
Yeah.
But I'm looking
You have
for-
to go up to Grand Island to get groceries.
Yes.
How
How far is Grand Island?
and
to-
wherever you are, it's 20
let's
minutes.
say from St. Paul.
Yeah, St.
St.
Paul.
Paul is north of Grand Island.
I think I would
a
do
little bit
better
of a
than you
drive.
guys think. I think I would do better.
We'll
an
put you
area
in. We'll
like
put
that
you
than
in Doniphan.
I just don't know. I just think Nick Grimm. I think Nick would get
Doniphan Trumbull.
Nick would get the content, and he would be like, "Really?" I'm like, really?
I don't know. He could make something out of it.
Yeah,
He's got a
he can
vlog.
I'm looking forward to the content of you stopping at the McDonald's at 24th and Coming by your house.
Me too.
Because it's a place to meet people.
It is. I used to go there after I went to school. We would have morning, workouts for football or whatever.
Yeah.
2 days. We'd go to McDonald's in between. There used to be a Subway at that. They redid that gas station on the other corner, and we used to go to that Subway a lot.
Okay.
A lot.
Okay.
Coming from Central High School.
I feel like you're hiding something from me in this.
Oh, it's a good
That's just
location.
an experience.
I would wait until after 8 at night because you're probably there'll be more people in there.
sure.
You want to meet characters.
Yeah, you want to meet characters. You want to meet characters of the neighborhood,
They all
and they're
like
not
some
necessarily
memories.
Creighton students.
You can also
Yeah.
gamble. You love gambling. You
I
can
love
sit at the slots.
I don't love gambling. I love winning. There's a difference.
You love gambling.
I love winning.
Oh, by the way, those machines are everywhere. I went into what's not a Buc-ee's anymore, but it's 60th and Center last night. Yeah, there's 3 guys in there playing the slots.
You know a
Or
place that
whatever
I
they're playing.
You know a place that I find myself stopping in weirdly a lot these days? It's the gas station on Abbott Drive by the airport. Like I think it's a Mega Saver.
Oh, yeah.
They have like 6 slot machines in there, and they have like a pit boss. It's like a person that you have to give your bet slips to.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I went to a U stop in Lincoln one time that had a pit boss type character.
Yeah.
like there was a roped off section with the
Yeah.
slot machines. I'm
He's like, "What?
oh.
You want a bag of chips? Let me take you to the other register." And he's just a guy in a leather jacket.
I love the chat right now is great. Send him to Peru.
Peru, Nebraska. Peru, Nebraska.
Put Matt in Unadilla.
Yeah, put him in
Dilla.
Unadilla with
Unadilla.
Unadilla Bill.
You could hang out at the Oak Bowl. Go to Peru.
There you go.
Look, as long as they got a racetrack somewhere, I think I'll be fine. Just
They-
watch the ponies.
They do not. Nebraska City does not have a racetrack.
Some more suggestions. Joel says we're going to send you to Fullerton.
You're looking at me like I know where these places are and
We're-
what they have. Okay, I don't.
They're in
Jason
Nebraska.
says the thought of living in Doniphan for a week made me shudder. Yeah, we got
I think you're
Matt.
underestimating.
Matt does Nebraska.
Oh, I just become Ed Foley, but instead of like recruiting, instead of recruiting high school football talent, I just go to people's cities and live there. Just Airbnb. See, that'd be more entertaining if I were to Airbnb with the locals. Like if someone were to take me in.
Why don't we have this? Tommy Lee went to college. Ed comes to small town Nebraska.
Matt does Nebraska.
Hey, do yourself before you do others.
We've already done it.
That's what I live my life by. Gary Sharp, Matt McMahon. Do yourself before you do others. Gary Sharp, Matt McMaster.
Gary lived in Lincoln.
I lived in Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary's lived.
Lincoln is the smallest town I've ever lived in.
Wow.
Same.
Yeah.
Creston, Iowa.
Oh, you've lived there?
Mhm.
No, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived in Skokie, Illinois, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Lincoln, Nebraska, now Omaha, Nebraska.
Got to get you smaller. Yeah.
How'd you ever get out of the mean streets of Creston, Iowa?
I quit playing baseball. That's in Creston, Iowa. Baseball is the only way out.
So what you really need to do
and stopping playing baseball was my way out.
What you really need to do is become a junior college athlete and go to these small, nice little towns like
Creston, Iowa.
Go to Independence, Kansas.
Yeah, give me some more ICCAC towns.
I still think I have some college eligibility.
Iowa Falls, Iowa.
Iowa Falls, where sometimes there's cell service.
Kirkwood.
Kirkwood's in Cedar Rapids.
Cedar
That's a little
Rapids.
bit bigger.
Indian Hills.
Ottumwa?
Yeah.
If the NCAA passes this 5 years and 5 rule, I have one more year of eligibility. So maybe I go to Iowa Western, I walk on, I try and play football, and then that won't count. That won't count as a year. So then I'll have 1 year to go and play NCAA football. That'd be a great series. That'd be real content.
Matt plays college football. Interesting.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
John says send him to Wayne, America. We can send you to Wayne, America.
You can be a Wayne State fan.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I could be.
Go Wildcats.
See, if you I would thrive, and just as long as I have a college football team and a casino and a Walmart, that's all I need.
Have any of those in any of these places.
And Wayne, how about Wayne?
Wayne doesn't have a casino, does it?
No.
Okay.
What is the closest casino to Wayne? Sloan?
Columbus?
Columbus have a casino?
Aren't they doing a war horse?
Because they got the racetrack.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Columbus getting a racetrack?
They have a
They've
racetrack.
always had a racetrack.
But you have to have a racetrack to build a casino.
No, I know that, but do they run races there?
Do they?
Yeah. I think Gary Schaaf is still the longtime radio guy who's still the voice of Columbus.
They still run
the
races
racetrack
out at
as well.
Fauner Park in GI.
Yeah, but Fauner Park has had some issues.
Oh.
Yeah. But
Surprising.
they still run races. Like I believe their meet is supposed to start here soon.
They run the donkeys out at Horseman's Park every summer. I went to one of those. It's just basically donkeys.
I grew up in a racetrack. Little Mr. Grandpa McMaster didn't believe in daycare. Didn't believe in taking the kid to the Shed Aquarium or the art museum
or the bean
or the bean or the scam or the museum. He goes, no, you know what, kid? We're going to Hawthorne.
Sometimes you meet the most interesting people. True story. Steve Sipple and I became friends because Sip hung out at State Fair Park.
Yeah. Oh,
he covered horse racing for the Journal Star or the Lincoln Star back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go there once in a while and there would be Sip.
No better bonding than that.
That was when Sip was not married, had no care in the world.
Yeah. That'd be great content. Sip and Matt go to the park. Sip and Matt watch the ponies.
Come on over, son. Let me show you something.
All right. He's like, Matt, we got to be careful here with the 8-horse.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
CBS Sports Network.
Have a good. Are they an underdog to Michigan State?
I would assume so.
Okay.
Mildly. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not. Michigan State's ranked.
That's a nice little.
Oh, I figured I'd wear it.
Big Ten.
Thank you for noticing. I figured I'd wear it because we're showing our support. We're throwing our support behind Big Ten refs today. So I love the Big Ten Conference.
Connor Happer for Big Ten refs.
I love the refs.
All right, we'll double dribble out of here.
That is the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It's Wednesday. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. I'm Connor Happer. I'm a little baby panda. And this is Josh Oddson as well. Say something, Josh.
Nebrasketball is good.
Something about the tone in your voice. I don't believe you.
I said it for weeks.
Yep. Now
They're
now
very
what?
good.
What is your response after last night?
Oh, those officials. Am I right?
Just say
It's always the officials
they're-
whenever you lose.
they're good. They're good.
You're doing good.
We will have to talk about the atrocities that were committed last night in Iowa City.
Oh, my.
It was bad. It was bad. But is it the end of the world? Yes. No, it's not. No, it's okay. People forget it's January, Josh, and you can lose. You're allowed to. This is basketball, after all.
Yeah, you don't have to run the table.
You don't have to run the table. That would be bad because they would have already been eliminated. And every team in the country would have already been eliminated if that would have happened, right?
Especially Tennessee.
Ouch.
At least we're not them, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right, so welcome to the show. Mitch Sherman will join in about an hour. Robin Washut, timing is good here, will join us at 1 o'clock. Was Robin in the empty building last night? Many of the local Nebraska scribes made the 5-hour drive out east.
It seems unnecessary. These games are on TV.
Yeah, but you get something by go. You could really feel it, and it's the one drivable
sure. Okay.
locate. In a day,
Mm-hmm.
if you're really stretching it, location around. You just don't get these very often, right?
I guess that's true.
A trip to Minnesota, a trip to Iowa, and then if you're lucky enough to play a non-conference football game on a Thursday to start the season in Kansas City. That's all you can hope for. That's all you can hope for.
Hoping against hope.
All right, so Mitch and Robin, that is our lineup powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. It is also Wednesday, which means at high noon today, and the sun is out. It's getting to the time of the year where I can't see anything when I drive to work. It's the sun is blinding.
And when I drive home.
And you drive home because it's dark.
Yeah.
Right. So it's Wednesday, which means at noon, I have an opinion. I assume many have opinions about last night, about tonight, about tomorrow night, about all of the nights or days.
Maybe you don't think we're giving your football team enough love.
Maybe it doesn't have to be about football at all. Maybe it's about Girl Scout cookies.
Potatoes.
Doc says, I have an opinion. It should be illegal to sell Girl Scout cookies outside of stores. Doc not here for Girl Scouts.
I don't want them out front of the grocery store.
Because you just don't want to tell you can't tell them no.
Yeah, and they know.
I told you about the time I bought a
They
$20 bag of popcorn at the golf course that one time, right?
I find it easier to
Swindled
say no
by the children
to the Boy Scouts because that popcorn is hella expensive.
It is. But they don't tell you. They don't.
But now I know.
They're
right?
like, hey, you want this bag of popcorn? You're like, sure, I'll support your local whatever you got lemonade stand going on here, kid. What? I got a $5 in my car. Go ahead. You can keep the change as well. Nope. We're gonna require $15 more.
Would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies? Damn it. Yes.
Of course I do. One box for how much? All right. So I have an opinion coming up at noon today. Get your opinions in any way you'd like to get in touch with the show. How can you get in touch with the show? Well, you can call or text the hotline 402-951-1620. You can tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. You can email Connor or Josh O at 1620thezone.com in the Equitable Bank Zone inbox, or you could leave a comment on the YouTube stream, which many are. Many are doing that. Join them. Join the small community. I was thinking about the small YouTube community, which you can find us on YouTube, 1620 Zone TV, or zonetv.live, of course, but that's on Twitch, and you can, leave comments wherever I think we're on Facebook too.
That's right.
You can find us on Facebook.
Facebook.
We're on Facebook.
In this economy.
Your mom's there, your aunt's there, we're there.
Tell your mom and dad, hey, watch these idiots that I watch every day.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm up to.
And you can leave comments straight from Facebook. That'd be a funny bit if all of our YouTubers just went to Facebook one day. I was thinking about the YouTubers this morning, like the crowd of people that are here like every day. So we got Travis, we got Bam on, we got Charles, we got Mike, we got we got the YouTube crowd. I'm sorry if I left any. SEAL Team Nick is here a lot.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Star Wars Fiend?
Yeah, he must be working.
Maybe he's a football season, kind of guy. I don't know. But there's more. We ought to do something special for the YouTubers. We could have like a YouTube
like a pizza party.
Yeah,
for the YouTubers.
Yeah, it's just us and like the 6 people who are like first Happer show, Hart, Theo.
Little meet and greet with the YouTubers.
Yeah, we got to do something special for them. Put that on our list for 2025.
All right, I actually don't hate that idea.
All right, Josh has a notepad that he writes things invariably on throughout the course of the day. So just write. Do something for YouTubers.
All right.
And then what also Josh does is he puts a box right next to it, and that box needs to get checked at some point.
Can't go home until all the boxes are checked.
And you don't keep your notes on an everyday basis. It goes to the next page. So you're gonna have to keep that notepad.
Yeah.
Unless you think of something today.
I can put a line. I allow myself to put a line through it and put it on the next days.
Okay, it carries over.
If I don't get to something.
Chris says, "Who could forget Game Dog and Becky?"
Oh yeah, they can come too.
Maybe actually, Travis, good point. Maybe this is what we'll do. We will get all the YouTubers together and we will talk about the Caitlin Clark thing.
What a great bit.
Just do a segment on Caitlin Clark. People will be just loving that. All right. So get in touch with the show, please, and send in your opinions. Elsewhere today, yes, we will talk about Nebrasketball, the refs, who I have never heard of, by the way. Who were those people? I don't know.
Okay, Joey, calm down.
No, I mean, who were they, Josh? We know all the people.
Who are any refs?
No. You know the names of the refs. If I say Kelly Pfeiffer and he's doing 60% of all Nebrasketball games, you're like, yeah, I've heard that name before.
Okay, I do actually know the name.
Of course you know the name Kelly Pfeiffer. Yes. But who are the refs? Mike Reed, Tim Comer, and Jason Phillips? Who are these people? Let's see who did the UCLA game.
Probably some townies.
You've heard of at least 2 of these people. Paul Sells, Randy Richardson, DJ Carstensen. I've heard of 2 of those.
Sure.
Of course. You know the refs. Those guys did the UCLA game. Who did the Southern game? Earl Walton, Anthony Burris, and Daniel Wynn. Okay, I haven't really heard of those guys. How about who did the Indiana game? Doug Sermons, Earl Walton, and Kelly Pfeiffer.
Where's Cleet Blakeman?
Cleet Blakeman, I don't think does college basketball anymore. At one point, I think he did. There's got to be a Blakeman out there. Platcat, by the way, says YouTube party at Grand China Buffet.
There's an idea.
All right.
That costs us less.
And we'll do the Caitlin Clark thing.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody could load up on egg rolls, which is another bit of this show that has gone by. Remember when I declared myself the egg roll king?
That's right.
All right. So Nebrasketball.
Definitely the ref's fault.
Well, I just want to have a conversation.
A referee is like a judge. If I don't know your name, you're probably doing a good job.
There was some numbers, television numbers that we got yesterday on bowl games.
Bowl games?
Yeah, bowl games.
We're still doing those?
Non-playoff? No, not anymore. They're gone now. There's only 3 more college football games left, Josh. 2 of them are over the next 2 days, and they're all important, and many people will watch them. But what about those stupid, dumb bowl games that nobody cares about?
Bahamas Bowl.
How many people watch those? Turns out a lot. We'll talk about that. We'll play a new game today called Why Did This Guy Say This Thing?
Now that's a game that's going to sweep the nation.
I think we can play that every day.
Yeah.
So today's example, why did this guy say this thing?
Technically, we started playing it yesterday when Kirk Herbstreit said all the things.
Yeah.
That guy's full of bleep, man.
What? He is incredibly disingenuous. I used to like him.
My son tweets for me. I thought about leaving college game day. You're lucky to have me on your TV.
I used to like that guy. The NFL crowd certainly doesn't love him either. I don't know what audience he's trying to get here. Anyway, why did this guy say this thing is coming up today? I have an opinion. I don't think I want to watch simulator golf.
Oh, that's a great take.
All right. We'll talk some more college basketball. And of course, with Maverick Mojo, why fight it?
You can't.
It's coming up. Get your Maverick Mojo going on tonight at the Baxter. Alex and Lincoln writes, Josh, where's your Husker basketball jersey?
No one has presented me with one. Would gladly wear.
So people have to get it for you to wear?
Yeah.
Ugh.
They have so
you
many.
buy all these other jerseys. You got a Mighty Ducks jersey, but you can't buy a Nebraska basketball jersey.
That they have so many. I don't know which one is the current active one.
You can really only buy the red one, I think.
Present it to me and I will wear it. Because as I have said, I've made my position on this very clear. Nebrasketball is good.
I definitely believe you when you say that.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's some opinions coming in already, and we will. Texter Jason writes in, what about the texters? Do we want to have a separate texter party? A separate texter pizza party?
I probably have the mental capacity for 2 parties.
Are the
yes.
texters allowed at the YouTube party?
I don't know. Should we leave it up to the YouTubers?
Sounds like we're signing ourselves up for a lot of parties.
Writing
a lot of checks that we
parties.
probably can't cash.
Well, if we go to Grand China Buffet, we don't have to pay for anyone. Like you're paying for your own thing here, okay? Now, pizza party, you got to provide the pizza.
Buffet. We're not buying your plate. Yeah. I think everybody would agree to that, right?
Yeah.
We just want to hang out. It's just for the hangs. That's all. Chance writes, why, when did Connor get the cute little panda ears?
Many are wondering.
4 minutes before the show started.
That's right.
Somebody dared me to. Travis writes in, Josh is a good producer.
Thank you.
Yep, you believe him when he says stuff like that in that tone.
I don't know why you put the quotes around good producer.
All right, welcome to the show. Let's talk about Nebrasketball next on 1620 The Zone. An email from John on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, John. We're not throwing a third party for the emailers. I don't know where this email's going, but I just want to throw that
Somebody
out there.
suggested that we should rent the entire Amazing Pizza Machine and go from room to room.
Well, that's quicker
Put
for
the
us.
texters in one room and the YouTubers in another room, and that's basically what happens on a given show.
Yeah.
All right, we'll toy around with that idea. But here's John's real email. Yesterday, you said that Big Ten basketball was bad. Iowa is a member of the Big Ten. Nebraska gave up a 15-point lead to Iowa and lost the game. So why does Josh keep saying that Nebraska is good?
Wait. How am I wrong in this scenario?
He believes you when you say these things,
Well,
Josh.
it's because Nebraska ball is good.
With great power comes great responsibility. So when you
many-
say stuff on the radio, people believe you.
So many people have told me for so many weeks that Nebraska ball is good. So I am believing that they are, in fact, good. I don't know as much about basketball as these other people who chime in.
The double dribble. I mean, we're going to do the refs thing for a couple minutes at least here. How do we explain this?
The broadcasters seemed very confused. Like, oh, we're just not going to, that was a double dribble. We're just not going to call that. Oh, okay.
We have now split into groups of people who are like, there's group, like the texters and the YouTubers, they're just in different rooms, right? We have one side saying the refs, and then the other side saying, well, the refs don't, have impacts on games. And then the refs people are all saying, well, if you didn't want the refs to be problems, then you shouldn't have done this and this and this. And then the other people are like, well, yeah, the refs though, I mean, that was pretty rough. With that being said, that was in regulation. Bryce Williams did hit the 3-pointer, which he may have been fouled before that or may have traveled. Like, I don't know. It was a bad deal last night. It was a bad deal from the ref standpoint. Josh, do you have any comments on the refs before we move on to the basketball?
On the refs?
Yes, the refs.
Just sort of my overall, why I understand officiating is bad across the board. Why do we always do this when Nebraska loses? It's always the refs' fault. You got to be.
It does seem to always be that way.
You got to be adults about this to some extent.
Yeah.
I understand. The officials were very bad last night.
They were bad. They were bad. Don't say that they were good.
Often officials in the Big Ten are very bad. That's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, it can't be the reason you lose every time you lose.
Okay. I'll handshake me with you on that one. That's a deal. Not every time, but definitely this time. No, it wasn't really this time either. So Nebraska,
blew a 15-point lead and then lost by double digits in overtime.
So let me add a little context to that.
Okay.
Yes, correct, Josh. But you're going basically back and forth for the first 10 minutes of the game. And then Nebraska hit an 18-3 run that lasted until about 3-4 minutes to go in the first half. And then had a bad last couple minutes. Iowa started making some shots. That continued right out of the gate in the second half. And then a couple minutes into the second half, Nebraska hit a separate 17-3 run. So basically, outside of a few minutes, we're talking about in the middle portion of this game, Nebraska hitting a 35-6 run with some Iowa points in between, right? But for giant swaths of the game, Nebraska is dominating. Then, and according to KenPom, their win expectancy grew to about 94% with 15 minutes remaining in the basketball game.
Ooh.
And then Iowa started speeding up, and they started making shots. And a lot of the shots were ill-advised. A lot of the shots were, what in the hell? How did they make those shots? And with a team like Iowa, who does that from time to time, they do have a pretty dang good offense, and they have a lot of good shooters, and they're always threats to shoot, right? That will happen to you sometimes. Nebraska. So here's the Nebraska personal responsibility piece of this. I was pretty disappointed at the way they composed themselves. I know that there was stuff that was going against you. They were making crazy shots. They were getting good looks and making them. The refs didn't seem to be on your side. But Nebraska, if they're going to be the gritty, not pretty team, they have to be able to compose themselves, settle down, and regain control of that basketball game.
Got to slow it down.
They have to slow themselves down. They just got way sped up.
97-87. I know it went overtime, but 97-87 isn't the game Nebraska wants to play.
No. They got way sped up in the second half of that game. And to the point where, I mean, the last 5 to 7 minutes were just a complete free-for-all. I mean, a complete free-for-all.
It's like a demolition derby.
Yeah, there was dudes diving all over the floor and fouls weren't being called or were being called. And Nebraska has to chill out. They got way sped up. It's one game. This doesn't say anything about what's going to happen in the future, but they have to be able to stem that. For a veteran team with veteran leadership and a lot of experienced and old guys, that was the thing for me. Yes, the refs were a thing, but that was the thing for me. They were never able to regain control of that game, losing control of a game that they controlled. And coaches will talk about this all the time. Yeah, it's a make shot, miss shot game, but if you feel like you are allowing them to get the looks that you want them to get, you can live with them making the shot, right?
Sure.
Nebraska has been really good at that strategy this year. Trading twos for threes. They haven't been a consistent 3-point shooting team. You're playing a team like Iowa. That's their only path to winning the basketball game. They have to make their threes. And when they made them, I just felt like Nebraska got really, really, really sped up. Iowa made 17 threes last night. 17 out of 35. They shot 49% as a team from three. Nebraska made 9 of them, which is a fine number for them, but just it fell apart at the seams.
Lost by 10, and you missed 10 free throws.
Yep.
Not
layups. I mean, layups were a problem
Yeah.
for Nebraska in the game. I mean, they're not all like, open court. Hey, just lay it in. They're tough contested shots, but Nebraska has to be better at than 20% or I'm sorry, 50% from 2-point range. And I don't know exactly what the number was on like layups. It's in the box score somewhere, but it wasn't, I don't think it was better than that. Right. So there's stuff where you can look at and say, man. And so every game is a missed opportunity if you don't win it. And that was a missed opportunity.
In about 7 weeks, you're probably gonna want that one back.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. There's a lot of time.
I don't think they're gonna miss like the tournament because of that game, but
yeah,
you're gonna be in a spot where you're like, okay, we're scrapping and clawing here down the stretch. Man, if we just would have had that Iowa game.
So let's take a break here. We'll come back and continue this conversation and want your guys' thoughts. 42951-1620. Back after this on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, or I guess what am I supposed to say today? I'm a little baby panda.
That's right.
I am a little baby panda.
Pandas are real, by the way,
That
for the
is-
record.
Never was really a dispute about that until today.
I've seen them.
And Josh Oddson, who looks normal and is now wearing a jersey of any kind today.
Nope.
Definitely not a Nebrasketball jersey.
Present me with it and I'll wear it. I'm
Mike-
not ashamed.
Mike says that loss could be the difference between a bye and a double bye in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I'm just it's a loss that like you could almost, I think, just encapsulate. It's the same thing. Well, it's not the same exact thing, but like I'm thinking, Creighton lost on the road at Marquette, right? And it was a game that they conceivably played well enough to win, right? So you almost like what I do is I try to just keep it in the context of itself, right? Keep the game in the context. It's January. Keep the game in the context of itself and say, yeah, that's a missed opportunity. That's a game that you want to have back. That's a game that you could have won. You should have won. All of those things. It got stole from us. They stole it or whatever it might be. And then you move on. Right? You just move on.
That's a good
because
point.
at the end of the season, if Nebraska ball's like square on the bubble or something like that, they're not going to be like, well, they lost at Iowa, so kick them out, send them to the NIT. No, that's not how it really goes. It's every game is its own little data point, and the season has ebbs and flows. And I think Nebraska absolutely should have and could have and played well enough to win that basketball game last night, but they didn't. And there's plenty of opportunity to make up for it. But I don't even want to do the like, oh, well, now they're down here and they need to earn it back to get back in the good graces of the committee or the fan base or whatever. That they just lost. Okay, they lost. Sometimes you lose.
Sure, you got to.
But you played well
because you got a tough one Sunday, and then a mid as hell Rutgers team.
What do they say about like a baseball 162 game baseball season?
You're gonna lose.
You're gonna win 50. You're gonna lose 50, and then there's gonna be 50 where it's like you played well and you played well enough. So, but the result is the only thing that matters. Right. It's the same thing with a basketball season. You play 35 games or whatever.
That's so many.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win a third of them. You're gonna lose a third of them, and unless you're one of the elite teams in the country. But if you live in Nebrasketball's world or Creighton's world or whatever, you're gonna win a third of them. You're gonna lose a third of them, and then whatever happens in the other margin is what your season ends up being. Yeah. So Nebraska sadly lost one of those margin games last night. Right?
It happens even to good teams.
Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
To be fair, every fan base blames the refs when they lose. It's not a Nebraska thing. Let's talk about this.
Nebraska likes to do that, though.
Are we too insulated to? Maybe I'm too insulated inside of it to have an opinion on this. I don't know. It feels like it's a lot. It feels like it's a lot.
I've made my stance
but at the
very
same time,
clear.
the game was a lot of bad officiating.
I would also like, hey, let's meet in the middle. Let's find common ground.
Do we think
it does seem to happen to Nebraska above average?
Do we think that Big Ten refs are just inherently worse than all the other conferences refs? Because this is something that, like, if you asked any fan base from the league, from the Big Ten, they would say, "Oh yeah, Big Ten refs." But is Wake Forest saying, "Well, ACC refs"?
Yeah,
is SMU saying ACC refs? Who's in what conference? I have no idea.
Is NIU going, oh, those Mountain West
Is
refs
Miami of Ohio
only.
saying MAC refs?
Yeah.
I'm sick of these MAC refs. We get some different refs, right? Maybe. Probably.
Probably.
It is now almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy because when you go into a game and all of these games, we talked about the conference yesterday, all of these games are just on the margin. All these teams look and feel the same outside of a couple at the top and a couple at the bottom. We're talking about a giant conference with 100 teams, and 11 of them are going to be, 3 seed lines inside or outside the bubble. Right?
Mhm.
So in a giant conference with all these teams that look the same, it does come down to the margins a little bit. And it comes down. So maybe it's that why we get hyper focused on the officiating in the conference, because it matters more, because all the other stuff is equal. I don't know. That's the best I can come up with.
Dan in Lincoln does make a good point.
All right.
You guys have heard John Bishop call a Creighton game, right?
I have. You can
I
hear
know
it on
who Evan
1620 Zone
Burrows
and
is.
1019 The Keg.
You can do that this Saturday.
Yes, you can. From Hinkle Fieldhouse where the light shines in.
The Hinkle.
That feels like a death trap.
No curtains at Hinkle.
Speaking of a death spiral, I would like to just Jack Mitchell has to. Can there be a game where he just survives? Every game is life or death.
It's not a bit.
No, it's not. He can't help it.
Yeah,
He can't help it.
I just wish for that man to be healthy. Like, just
Me too. I want the best for everybody.
go 24. You can't get kicked in the nuts that often, and
He was
live
doing
to tell
like
the tale.
he was doing not to throw Jack under the bus too much, but like he was doing like here are the wins that you had. Like here's everybody's net rating, and like okay, here's where we got to make up for this. And to be fair, like I did the roadmap,
We did a roadmap for both schools.
but it wasn't from the perspective of like you have to now that they lost to Iowa, there's only 4 more opportunities where you have this, and this game is this, and this game is this. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't mean to like make a stance on their bubble status.
Yeah.
Like that's not what I meant.
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. Although I do love Ken Palm.
The little Ken Palm thing, he probably says this is a tough stretch. Tough little spot in the schedule.
Let's see. It says they're going to lose on Sunday.
Oh, what does Ken Palm know?
Says they're going to win on Thursday against
Hell yeah.
the Gers.
Mid as hell.
Says they're going to lose to Maryland next
Whoa.
Sunday. Josh would never. Says they're going to win against USC on Wednesday, January 22nd.
Oh, let's talk to Inside USC about that one.
Do you think he has any takes on USC basketball?
I'm on it. Does he cover basketball?
I don't think so.
I'll bet he doesn't. Why would he?
Jason writes in,
Hi, Jason.
don't give up a 15-point lead and the non-call means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
See, but I also hate to do that too. Right? Because that is really results oriented. Right? Nebraska, like many other teams, blew a lead last night. And so I can't sit here and tell you they can't complain because they gave up a 15-point lead. I choose to, like, once again, let's put it in the game in a vacuum of itself. They played well enough to win. I felt like they lost control. They lost their composure. We got to keep our composure. They lost their composure. And that was the thing from the game where it's like, dang, we wish we would have had that back. But does it provide a learning opportunity for Nebraska? All right, you get sped up in a game again. I mean, it was a similar thing where they lost they got beat by Minnesota after having like a Death Star first half last year. And then remember we were having this whole freak out, same thing last year. They blew it in the second half and it was basically over with like 10 minutes left. Minnesota just started making every shot. We're like, what happened?
Whoa.
Do we suck? Is this the worst thing ever? It's like, yeah, it's a bad loss. And in this case, it's a loss, but it doesn't mean, I don't think it means anything else outside of that.
It's not going to go on the graphic
Yeah.
at the end of the season. Bad loss at Iowa. No.
Now
not at all.
here's one thing I'd like to say, Josh.
Okay.
trending in a bad direction on Nebby versus Iowa. People call Nebby. People call him Nebby on the message boards.
Oh, do they?
Other
That's dumb.
message
Don't do
boards
that.
they say Nebby.
You're typing. It goes pretty quick. Just type Nebraska.
Nebby. Nebby versus Iowa.
NU or NEB would suffice as well.
Nebraska has not beaten Iowa at football or men's basketball now in since March 5th of 2023 when Nebrasketball won 81-77 in Iowa City.
It's almost 2 years.
The next time they will get an opportunity is March 9th, 2025. So they will go 2 calendar years without beating Iowa in football or men's basketball. Kind of snuck up on you, didn't it?
I had no idea.
So I did see some people last night. It's like this. There was many topics that were floating around my sphere of influence, and one of them was, what's the deal with Nebraska and Iowa? Do these kids even care about beating Iowa? And did you see the tweet last night from, I believe it was Owen Freeman after the game? Yes, Owen Freeman, the big man from Iowa.
Oh no.
9:44 p.m. He gets back to the locker room. He hops on his phone and he fires off a tweet. Here's what it says: "Shake Jay Higgins' hand."
Oh no, are we not shaking hands again?
No, they shook their hands.
Oh, okay.
They shook their hands, but Owen Freeman was still wanted to mention how they didn't shake Jake Higgins' hand.
Wow.
Or Jay Higgins' hand in the football game this year. So did these kids even care about Iowa? Do we have to impart our wisdom on them about how much you should want to beat Iowa?
We don't have to coach them up on that. It's a known thing, right?
I think so, but the results would tell you that they don't give a rip.
What about pride?
What about it? Exactly. What about pride? Whatever happened to pride? Jeff writes in on the inbox.
Hi, Jeff.
Shocker, we lose to Iowa in overtime in a game we should have won. Ugh, I really, really hate Iowa.
There you go.
I didn't hear that from anybody else last night after the game. I didn't hear that from any of the Nebraska basketball players.
You hang your head
really,
at the
really
podium.
hate Iowa.
Yeah, just I hate those guys.
Really hate Iowa. And if we would have won, I wouldn't have shaken their hand.
Oh, you were composed at the podium when it was time to talk about the game afterwards.
By the way, there was a tweet last night from Dan Wolkin speaking about refs. Says, if what I'm seeing tonight is an accurate representation of SEC basketball officiating, road win should count as double. Home team's getting away with some stuff. And then I think this was the ref thing was really there was some lighter fluid poured on by our dear friend Scott Docterman last night. Did you see?
I have seen this tweet.
Yeah,
yes.
Did you see Scotty's tweet?
Yeah.
Talking about how I've never seen a team get robbed the way Nebraska did. It's like, oh no.
Okay, Scott, I know what you're doing.
That guy, there is no other Iowa guy that hears it more from Nebraska fans than Scotty Docterman.
And he's a smart guy, so I assume he knows it. He's really good at it.
He's very good. He pokes the bear. I don't even know if he means to poke the bear, but the bear gets poked a lot, it seems. But he's like, hey, I'll level with you guys. Because sometimes I feel bad not feel bad, but I feel like I can't comment on Nebraska basketball.
You're the Kirk Herbstreit of Nebrasketball.
I'm trying to both sides this thing. And so I can say good things about Nebraska basketball, and then my comments will be filled up with shut up, Jasker. Nobody wants you here.
Just in general in sports, does that make you feel better when
you tweet at your favorite?
But like when an observer says, man, insert name of team you root for here, really got hosed tonight.
According to the replies, it does not make anyone feel better.
Okay.
No.
I didn't think so.
No. Jack John writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Jack John.
Am I the only one who is stressed out just watching Peyton Sanford play? That dude could power the entire grid with the energy he exerts from his facial expressions alone. Yeah, he has He's got some gray hair. The dude went off last night. And how about CB native Josh Dix going off last night for what, 31? Payne Sanford went for 30. I mean, really, that's the game as well. You got 61 points from one guy. He only scored 97 in the entire game, and it went to overtime. Those two guys combined make 13 out of 23s and are 12 of 13 from the free throw line, bring in 12 rebounds and 11 assists. That's two guys. So, yeah, Nebraska basketball could not shut that off last night.
Text from the 402.
Yeah, what's up? What's going on in the 402?
Peyton Sanford looks like a guy who asked the teacher for homework.
Are you sure? Weren't you supposed to give us an assignment today?
Teacher, you forgot something.
Jeff says,
homework.
I was the king of having goofy-looking white guys that all he does is hit threes. Iowa has had some very, very good basketball players over the years, offensive weapons, and no NCAA tournament wins to show for in the last several years, or definitely haven't been to a Sweet 16 in Fran McCaffrey's time.
Bold statement here in a text from the 402.
All right.
Peyton Sanford has the most punchable face I've ever seen.
Oh, come on. Ever? He just looks like a guy.
I mean, remember that kid from Duke who looked like Ted Cruz? What was that kid's name?
Grayson Allen?
Yeah. That's the most punchable face I've ever seen.
More punchable. Yeah, we're getting higher on the punchable scale, that's for sure. I don't Psycho T, does he belong on that list somewhere? Mr. Hansborough?
Yeah.
Mr. H.
Mr. H.
Well, he was Mr. H. Anyway.
Guys, Nebraska ball is fine.
They're good.
They're fine. Calm down. In fact, we'll get into this list a little bit later. The fellas over at ESPN, Jeff Brazil and Myron Metcalf, they did a tier list of all of the college basketball or NCAA tournament adjacent teams, right? Here's what tier you're in. There's only a few in tier 1 and then a bunch more in tier 2. And then, Sweet 16 caliber teams in tier 3. And then there's a tier called can win a tournament game. Guess who's in there? GBR.
Oh, hello.
GBR. Creighton in the dangerous bubble teams category, by the way. So we'll talk about that list a little bit later. But mostly the thing I want to say is I don't want to stoke the fire too much. Everything is fine. It's okay. There is probably something to be said about football brain, but I feel like I've been on that rant enough. You lost a game. It was bad. It wasn't pretty. You should have won. You felt like you could have won. You played well enough to win. It might hurt you, whatever, but it is one data point.
Flush it and steal one on Sunday.
It is one data point in the many, many data points. Also, our guy Paul Burmeister was on the call last night.
Oh, hi, Paul. I know you're listening.
Paul loves the show.
This show.
Yes. Probably many shows.
Sure.
But he definitely loves this show.
Got to do your research.
Yep. No doubt about that. All right. You guys can keep sending in your punchable faces on the internet.
I would love to compile a list of punchable faces today.
What about Connor Happer with panda ears?
Yeah, I understand that we might be on it.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm prepared for it. And in solidarity with my Big Ten refs, I'm wearing my Big Ten quarter zip today. Shout out to the Big Ten.
Love the big. Connor Happer does.
Isn't the enemy you know better than the enemy that you don't know?
Yeah, there's also, keep your friends close, your enemies closer.
Mm-hmm. So these are the guys that we love to hate.
Yeah.
And I choose
unnecessary evil.
Throw my support behind them blindly. Baymon says we would never put you on a punchable face list. We love you guys. Now I can't help but think that everything that gets said in our YouTube comments is in Josh's sarcastic voice.
I don't believe anything anyone says.
Look at what you've done. I can't believe you did this to us, Josh.
I made words meaningless.
Charles says Paul Burmeister is a good announcer.
He's good.
All right. This show, we're going to have a problem if words don't mean anything on this show. All right. We're back with Mitch Sherman of The Athletic coming up. Got some football to talk about. New rules. New Matt rule. New year, new me. Matt rule. What's that mean in 2025 and beyond for Nebraska football? We could probably comment on Nebraska basketball as well. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
You can play. And we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royal. Let me live that fantasy.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic. On the Connor Happer Show. On 1620, The Zone.
You can play.
Really having a problem on my headphones and where to place them over the top if I want to still keep my panda ears visible. That's a way that I never thought that I'd start a segment with saying, but here we are. Connor Happer, Josh Oddson with you. We're joined now on the phone by our dear friend Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Mitch, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. What's going on? I'm curious after I hear you there on the introduction.
Yeah, the Girl Scouts came by and they left a couple boxes of Girl Scout cookies and then also a couple pairs of panda ears for like a headband. And somebody in the office dared me to wear them the entire show throughout the show. So I will I'm now completing that dare.
That seems normal. Yeah.
Just normal stuff. Speaking of normal, Nebrasketball, normal.
I guess in the sense that they laid an egg at Carver Hawkeye Arena, but it looked good for most of the first, 2/3 of that game last night. I thought Nebraska was going to roll to victory when it was up 15, and that did not happen. The Hawkeyes awoke and started shooting just lights out. I mean, give them credit for shooting lights out. I mean, we can bicker about. I don't even know if it's bickering. Like there's some awful officiating in that game, but Nebraska simply cannot allow a team to come back when it's got them on the ropes the way the Huskers did with an opportunity for an important road win. Anytime you can get a road win in the Big Ten and you're trying to make the tournament or get off the bubble into safe zone come March, you don't want to let an opportunity like that slip away.
Mitch, this is something that let's move over to football as Mitch Sherman from The Athletic is with us. The subject line of your mailbag today was, where should Nebraska be as Matt Rule enters year 3? And there's something that we talked about on the podcast today and how year 3 doesn't really feel like a traditional year 3 for Matt Rule, at least the way it's setting up. So I guess I'll characterize it this way, or I'll frame it up this way. What is year 3 for Matt Rule in context of what his other year 3s at his previous stops have been? Can we hold Matt Rule to the same standard? And it's not just about wins and losses, but I guess how is this different from his other 2 places?
I think it's different in just about every way. And some of that's dictated by the circumstances in college football and in college sports. So much of what he's dealing with here in 2025 did not exist when Matt Rule was entering year 3 at Temple or year 3 at Baylor. And I'm talking about roster limitations, revenue sharing, NIL, transfer portal, like all of the stuff that we talk about constantly and really that revs up in the offseason. At least we can spend 3 or 4 months in the fall talking about football games, but the rest of the year, most of it is about everything else that's going on outside, and that's where it's all changed. So I think that the trajectory that Matt Rule has established that his programs travel were somewhat comparable from year 1 to year 2 at Nebraska in comparison to what happened at Baylor and what happened at Temple, but they've taken this like sharp turn.
Yeah.
Going into year 3 and just the way that he goes about building everything. And that's from the changes that he made on his coaching staff. And some of those changes were made for him when Tony White and Terrence Knighton decided to leave in early December, but how he's reacted to that. And then other pieces he's added on the staff. And, Matt Rule said it at times early in his early months at Nebraska that he wasn't going to be a coach that built out of the portal, that they were going to develop and they were going to recruit and they were going to focus on internal things to make the program better. And the circumstances have changed and they're looking at a class this year that's going to get above 15 this month in the portal ads. and could get up around 20 by the time they're done in the spring. So that's a different plan, and it makes year 3 a different task, like a different challenge. And I don't know if the expectations are different. They're still to improve.
Right.
Like Matt Rule's teams improved from year 2 to year 3 at the other schools, and that's going to be the expectation at Nebraska too.
By your estimation, in what ways, and these are all general, right? Like, program wide, kind of encapsulating things, but in your opinion, what ways is he staying the course from when he got here, or from what it's kind of been? Because you mentioned there's a sharp turn. I don't disagree with that at all. In which ways is the program and the way he sort of builds it going to be the same as the original intent?
I think what they do on the ground floor, I think when they get back together and the winter workouts begin and it's time for the mat drills, that stuff is going to look the same. It's going to feel the same. I don't think he's going to coach his team different in many ways. When spring practice starts, there'll be some aspect of the practices that are different because you have a different makeup of the coaching staff, and a lot of the way that the practice work are shaped by the position coaches and the coordinators and how they run things. But as far as Rule and what he does from the top in a leadership position, I think that's going to be steady. But again, it's more about the management of the roster, which is a huge part of what he has to do here in 2025, because they still have a long way to go to get to a place where they're going to field the team for the next season. Probably a longer way than the majority of programs that are out there in major college football. That's going to be different. What's going to be the same? I think a lot of the stuff on the ground floor, what the expectations are for the players on a day-to-day basis, that's going to be the same. How they develop leadership and look for leadership and do some of the Rule stuff with, growing players into roles where they can earn single digits in the fall. That stuff's going to be the same. I don't think he's a different coach, but it's like the CEO, the management, the peripheral things that are going to look and feel different.
Do you think if you asked him, and this is total speculation, do you think if you asked him, like what would he say if you asked him, like if you regretted the way he started building it at first? And this is a part of this is the roster, which obviously has a different approach to it right now. Do you think that approach would be different if he could do it all over again?
No. I think that some different conditions existed, and the house settlement was not a thing when Rule took over 2 years ago. I think he did what he felt fit Nebraska when he came in 2023, and even knowing what you know now. Well, I mean, maybe if there was a way to know the direction and all the different places that college football was going to go in 2 years, perhaps you could have done some things differently and probably not grown the roster as large as it was. And maybe you look for some different stuff in your coaching staff if you knew that you had unlimited size to come. But I think he would say that it's all been part of the process to get to this point, and he probably feels more equipped to handle things the way that he's going to in 2025 and moving forward because of his ability to see the results of how it went when he ran it the way that he did coming into Nebraska the past 2 seasons.
The thing that I definitely liked about him when he got here, and still now, Rule, is that he's not attached at the hip to a style. I think he's super opinionated on the way he wants to do things and the way things should be, I think, but he does not. I mean, he's said this, multiple times over the last several weeks now, like, we will do anything. And he said, and he made that clear when, he let go a couple of his longtime confidants and assistant coaches. That has to bode well for him in the new iteration of what this is.
I think the style that he's attached to is the one that he thinks works best in college football and best for Nebraska in that moment. And that like you said, whether that was his initial vision or like what he prefers on a personal level, that's not important. It it may impact how long he wants to be a coach.
Yeah.
I don't think anything is imminent with him. He's kind of made clear that he's probably not going to coach until he's 60 years old. So that's a decade from now, but that's not anything for Nebraska to worry about in the moment. I mean, he'll do it. He's not going to do something that he dislikes doing. I don't think he dislikes this new way of college football, but it's new to him. And while some coaches are just going to be resisting completely to doing things a new way, like they're going to try to fit their way into a new system. I think that's a strength for Rule, is his adaptability, and he'll embrace it head on. If it's got to be different, and the way that it best fits together is not what he envisioned 2 years ago, then that's fine. He's open to it. I think he's adventurous in that way.
Mitch Sherman from The Athletic is with us. As far as what is going on in the day-to-day here, what do you think about some of the pieces that they've added, especially, I mean, I guess we could just isolate it to the defensive side of the ball here and some of the others that they're still continuing to bring in. It feels to me like they have, added a bunch of starter caliber players, which they've needed. Like what is the current state of the defense as you see it?
Yeah, well, they're replacing just about everything. A few pieces back. I mean, some reserves who were back and some promising young players who were back. I mean, they have, you can start to build your defense around Vincent Shavers, around Sierra Wright, around Riley Van Poppel. There's a guy at each level of the defense who's coming back and has an extremely high upside and did good things for Nebraska in the time that they've been able to play. Some more than others. Obviously, Wright was the full-time starter and for the second half of this season, and Van Poppel redshirted, and Shavers was working his way in as a true freshman. But you build around those guys, and I think in Williams Nwaneri, they've definitely got a future star. I look at Dason McCullough, the linebacker Nebraska brought in from Oklahoma. I think he's an exciting player who's going to do outstanding things for Nebraska and immediately when he comes in. Marcus Watson-Trent, one of the latest signees out of Georgia Southern, who's a Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Year. You have to think that he's going to come in and be a starter. Andrew Marshall, and not just a starter, but like a high impact player who has a chance to go to the NFL. Andrew Marshall, the DB from Idaho, DB and kick returner. I think he's shown in his experience against high level competition when Idaho ventured out and played Oregon that he's somebody who can hold up in the Big Ten and is going to be an important piece for them. Probably put him at least into the favorite role to be a starter at corner for Nebraska. Maybe it's him and Sierra Wright next season. So, those are all important pieces. And I don't think they're done. I think there's maybe another piece or two more to be added on the defensive side. And the big thing that they've still got to do through the portal is sign some offensive linemen and perhaps look at a running back.
Well, here's one for you. According to On3, Nebraska has landed a commitment from Alabama offensive tackle transfer Elijah Pritchett just a moment ago. There's one for you that we've talked about a lot in the last couple of days. Do you think that eliminates them from bringing in another tackle, or is there still more on the horizon there?
I think they'd be open to taking two. If they broke the bank to get Pritchett, then maybe you got to rally the resources and figure out what's left. It's not unlimited, but that's a big relief for Nebraska on the offensive side. I know Dana Holgerson, you could see the stress in his face in talking about that back in December before the Pinstripe Bowl, that he knew what they needed to do, and it's been a huge priority. So getting somebody who is an absolute starter from day one. He started 12 games at Alabama last year. Was a must for Nebraska on the offensive side, and now you can figure out if you need more. I mean, they like Gunnar Gatula, who they had at left tackle this last season. I think they are fully bought in on him being a starting piece for Nebraska for years to come. So you don't necessarily have to get another offensive tackle, but they're thin at that position, even with those two guys at the top. So I think they'll continue to look, and if the fit is right, they'll take another one.
All right, Mitch, we'll let you go. Appreciate you taking the time as always. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks a lot.
Mitch Sherman from The Athletic, also of the Locked On Nebraska podcast, a very bad podcast.
It's good.
It's bad. See, now everything everything I say means the opposite. So did Nebraska got a transfer commit from Elijah Pritchett.
He's very clean.
Well, yeah.
A clean slate.
He's got a clean slate, might be helpful to him. On threes, formerly known as the guy who made Photoshops for edits for people, now who works for On Three, Hayes Fawcett, first reported the news just a couple of moments ago.
Didn't we report this yesterday?
We did not report anything.
Oh,
nor have we really ever.
It was rumored.
But
yesterday we were talking about rumors.
We were talking about the potential of him committing.
Oh, okay, sure,
yeah, because that's what we do in Sports Talk Radio. We try to put you on the right track for things.
We pulled that out of thin air.
Yeah,
we had no idea.
We always do that.
We manifested it.
By my estimation, that would be Nebraska's starting left tackle next year. Transfer from Alabama.
Welcome
to town. All right, we'll be back. Don't forget, please, to get your questions in for I Have an Opinion, or get your opinions in. Sorry, for I Have an Opinion. Coming up here in about 15 or 20 minutes. But first, Josh has the odd news on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Oddson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Oddson. Odd news, Oddson. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Don't forget, once again, send in your opinions for I Have an Opinion coming up very soon. It's coming very soon. Josh, do you have any opinions?
I got lots of opinions.
All right.
About lots of things.
Can I get a sample?
Oh,
what do you think about chocolate chip cookie cake? Not the cookies, but the cookie cake.
I like the cookie cake. Don't put too much of that frosting on there.
Yeah.
I don't need
none of it if possible.
Ooh, yeah, if possible. But I know you want to write, "Happy birthday, Margie." It's all downhill from here.
When's the last time you got a cake made for somebody?
Oh God.
I don't think I've ever
At least 10
made
years.
the grocery store make a cake for
Yeah.
me. I don't even know if I've ever bought a cake.
Does it?
Have
really?
you? I don't know if I've ever
bought a cake.
Have you
Poll
ever bought a
question?
cake? Yes or no?
Okay.
The cake's always there. I never bring the cake because I'm not a cake guy.
Does it count if like my wife orders the cake and we get the cake for our son? Does that mean I've bought a cake?
No, I'm actually talking about you physically buying the cake.
Okay.
I want you to buy the cake.
Sure.
All right. Pull question up. That Happer Show. Have you ever bought a cake? Odd news. What do we got?
Well, the NFL playoffs are this weekend, and what better time for food service industries to present the people who are dumb enough to pay playoff prices with new foods at the various stadiums in which these games will be held. 3 new dishes highlight the offerings from the fine folks at Aramark Sports and Entertainment for the playoff games. At Arrowhead, you can get the Touchdown Toast, which is a massive French toast feast that includes berry sauce and vanilla ice cream. In Philly,
I just don't.
Go ahead.
These are all for the people in the suites, right?
Well,
Who is sitting outside eating a French toast feast?
I don't know. Hey, it's 9 degrees out. Would you like to get some French toast and ice cream?
I hate holding stuff, right? So like I'm the
good
kind of guy who if I'm at a 9-inning baseball game that lasts 2.5 hours, there's one trip to get beer, there's probably a second trip to get beer, and then there's a whole separate trip to get food. I only have 2 hands, Josh.
Okay. That makes sense. No, it makes sense.
I can't imagine having a strawberry French toast feast. I don't even like to hold the big long hot dog.
I saw a picture of it. It's very tall. It's a tall stack of it's not a stack. It's like a tunnel of French toast with the sauce and ice cream in the middle.
It's too much.
Very tall. In Philly at Lincoln Financial Field, or the Link, as the locals calls it, Bradley Cooper calls it the Link for sure. They have a Pretzel John. It's
one of them Johns.
One of them Johns. That's a John. You're a John. He's a John.
Yeah.
Ginormous pretzel that comes with 3 sauces, including green mustard.
I'm kind of into that. It doesn't even seem like a specialty item, honestly.
And it's in the shape of the Eagles logo, and it comes on a board.
I don't care. It's a pretzel. I'll eat it.
Finally, at NRG Stadium, no relation, in Houston, Texas, backers of the Texans will have the option to grub on a Bigger in Texas tamale, which has meat, chili sauce, and salsa.
I love a tamale. I don't want to eat a tamale at a football game.
These dishes will run you anywhere from $17.25 to $25.
Man, at one of my previous jobs, I used to work with a guy named Victor, and Victor would bring tamales.
Oh,
and I loved the tamales.
Okay,
loved like real life tamales.
Tamale.
Shout out to Victor. Shout out to Victor and them boys.
Okay, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Calls to 911, oftentimes very important. A matter of minutes can mean life and death. Sometimes they're just idiots. The funniest 911 calls of 2024 have been released. These are from Saskatchewan for some reason. They posted their 10 most unusual non-emergency calls that came in over the last year. Caller told operators their parents were forcing them to clean their room.
Classic.
Number 8 was that a fox was wandering the neighborhood scaring cats.
I thought that was more for next door.
Yes, that is a perfect place for all of these. Caller reported bees inside their house. Some caller needed help unlocking their cell phone. I don't have any follow-up on how they managed to call 911.
Well, you could do the emergency. Like you can get in there.
Yeah.
But just on the emergency line.
Caller told operators someone had thrown their ice cream on the ground.
Inappropriate.
Yeah. Caller says an individual reported their cat was being mean and asked for a police officer to come and help with the situation.
You don't need to call 911 for this. These are funny.
And the top 3 are as follows.
All right.
Number 3, I need help with my malfunctioning washing machine.
911.
Number 2, called 911 because they needed help with a math problem and they did not want to fail their test in the morning. And number 1, someone called 911 to report someone had taken a tambourine to the party. I am at a party.
Somebody's brought a tambourine.
There's a tambourine here. I don't want it. Please, please escort.
Maybe that was code for something. Maybe they brought illicit drugs.
Yeah. They got 10 keys of tambourine here.
Do you think the police responded to any of these?
I would imagine
it's like, where's that tambourine?
Get me a tambourine now. Maybe the washing machine one. Because if I'm a police officer, that's a call like, okay, I can actually help this person. Maybe they just don't have the knowledge or the wherewithal.
I don't think so. I think you just patch them over to
call a plumber.
Yeah. To the washing machine people.
See, and then like if I help this person with their washing machine, I don't have to do anything dangerous, right? Like
I don't know if that's the cop's attitude.
Probably
protect
not.
and serve.
That's probably why
fix
I'm not
washing
a cop.
machines. Yeah. All right, one more. If we have it.
Yeah, we do. We go to Los Angeles, where the UCLA.
Careful.
Yeah, they had other things going on. The UCLA Bruins got their butts whipped last night.
They did,
94-75.
We told you about Vlad.
We did. Told you about Vladdy. It brings to attention the post-game press conference from Mick Cronin.
Oh,
where he said the following.
So don't tell me you want to win. Like, just don't tell me you want to win. So don't tell me you want to win. It's crazy, and it's every day. I'm tired of it. It's every day. I have the most energy of anybody at practice every day. I'm upset with everybody in that locker room, my assistant coaches and my players.
We were just talking about with Mitch, coaches that are, how Matt Rule, we like it that Matt Rule is not attached to a style. This would be the opposite of that. If you don't play Mick Cronin's way, you're canceled. You were called out. It doesn't matter where you came from. You will go Mick's way or the highway. He's a little elf. He's a little elf. I saw him up close on Saturday. I go, wow, he's tiny and he wears a pinstripe suit. That's weird.
Okay, so there's some little man syndrome happening with Mick Cronin.
Yeah, I mean, like that's fine.
A real thing.
That's fine, but doesn't necessarily lend itself to having a super successful basketball team.
Called his team soft, said he had more energy than a group of 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Seems impossible.
No, he might.
Oh.
He actually might be right. Have you seen him out there stomping around? And
not like you have.
Oh, yeah. He's active.
Okay.
He's active. He might not be wrong. Mick Cronin.
He does not want to be the coach of UCLA.
He has been the coach at UCLA. This is now his 6th season.
But he doesn't want to be.
I don't know. And he went to 3 NCAA tournaments in his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year. And I believe all of those teams had Jaime Jaquez.
Oh, wow.
So, yes. Johnny Juzang, Tiger Campbell, Jaime Jaquez. You know what they say about guys who win with the other coaches, players.
Uh-oh.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with UCLA. All right, Josh, thank you.
Thank you, Connor.
Noon hour. We need takes. Give us your opinions. I'm seeing at least one
opinion
on the text line. You can send them in there or on YouTube, or you can tweet at us at Happer Show at Counter Happer. It's time for our flagship segment. I have an opinion. Coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
This is the I Have an Opinion song. Haven't done an intro yet. Need to get on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's time for I Have an Opinion. Did someone just come in and say something to us?
Yeah, Alyssa.
Was she checking on the continuity of my panda ears?
Maybe.
Well, they're still on. But as you all know, because I talk about it often, I don't like when stuff's around my head. It squeezes off the circulation to my head.
Oh, no.
And then I get angry and I get frustrated and I get a headache.
Are those loose or squeezy?
They're a little squeezy.
Okay.
They're squeezier than I thought they'd be. That's for sure.
Connor wearing panda ears for the entire show.
That's right.
Because
it's a bit, Josh.
Somebody said that
I should do it.
And
it was easy enough where I could.
was gonna say I don't really remember like, oh, you got to do this, man.
Also, I'm also doing this show with a lovely bottle of whiskey right next to me.
Still sealed. He hasn't opened it. Calm down.
Well, what's wrong if I did?
Well, I guess you're not running the board, so it's fine.
Oh, you're worried about stuff getting on the board, not me getting hammered on the air?
No, legally you can't operate this board and
Really?
be under the influence.
Is that an FCC deal?
Yes.
Wow, I've broken that law before.
I have as well.
All right. Sorry. I didn't. I haven't. And
Prove-
you will never be able to find out how or when.
Prove I did.
You would never be able to find out how or when. I would never be able to trace it back. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you to this is from our friends from JTech Construction.
Thanks, JTech. JTech.
Unbelievable. And you can tweet at us from the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed.
Ooh, yeah.
Because it's time for I Have an Opinion, not Grunt the Slate, but I Have an Opinion. We have several opinions that are coming in. But Josh, first, I'd like for you to say what you said to me during the break. The news that I liked. Before we talked about the other thing.
Okay, yeah, that's the only thing I remember us talking about.
Before that.
The 2019 All-Star Game is on?
Before that.
It
was regarding a guest potentially on the show at some point. Guys, lock in for this.
Hope you're sitting down. Pretty certain at some time over the next month. I would put it at, I'm going to go 80% right now. 80%.
80% is strong.
Yeah. Ben Bailey is going to join us on the show. Well, who's Ben Bailey? That name sounds vaguely familiar. I don't quite remember who Ben Bailey is. Ben Bailey is the host of the hit game show
Cash Cab. Yes. And why is he's coming to Omaha?
He is coming to the
Does he have stand up? I don't care.
He has stand up. I love
Cash Cab.
I want to say Holland will hammer out the details when he's actually on the show with us.
Yes.
But I know the date is
We
Saturday.
don't need to promote the show that we don't even know about. All I heard from that was Ben Bailey, the host of Cash Cab, is going to be in our vicinity.
That's right.
And that has been one of our Mount Rushmore guests.
It is.
That has been one of our guys. Like, if we can find a way to talk about Cash Cab for 20 minutes with this Cash Cab guy, then that would be right in our sweet spot. Right there.
During break, I went and scrolled through like, okay, who's coming to town? Any new Frank Caliendos that I could
I like when the people got in the Cash Cab and he was the driver of the cab and he was like, yeah, where you want to go? Where you want to go today? And then he's like, yeah, I want to go to 36 and 6. And they're like, Cash Cab. And they're like, what's Cash Cab? It's like, you know what Cash Cab is. Sit down. I'll give you $100 if you answer this question correctly.
It's a red light challenge.
It's a red light challenge. Oh, what a show. And what a man. And he could be either on the phone with us or right next to us. Who knows?
I believe a phoner was suggested.
Ah, dang it. Anyway.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
Very exciting.
Too many emails today.
Very, very exciting. Very exciting. Okay, opinions from the people.
Opinions from the people. We will let Baymon go first on the YouTube stream.
Baymon.
I have an opinion. Refs should get a grade posted the next day after every game, so we have even more things to debate and complain about when it comes to officiating.
I like Baymon's approach. I like that you said that part at the end, right? It's purely for our entertainment of here's what we're gonna argue on this. Because my general takeaway when people want more ref transparency, they want to do ref press conferences and they want more ref accountability and they want to fire refs and stuff like that. Generally, I say you guys don't want that.
You think
you think you do. You think you know what you're asking for, but there's way too many unintended consequences of that. You don't want that.
It's just going to make you angrier when they get something wrong.
And we have a ref shortage in America. These guys are working. Once again, the guy who did the Creighton game last weekend,
That's right.
He was barely here. He got off the plane and then went straight into the CHIL center. Get this guy to the loading dock. Right? So I would generally say that you don't actually want that, but if you're saying, "Hey, look, I just want more entertainment." It's like Pro Football Focus for refs.
He did,
but we're gonna use it. We're gonna use it against them.
He did add that Pro Referee Focus could be a huge website.
Wow, there you go. Exactly.
We have an opinion from Chance, so it's going to be about one of like 4 things.
All right.
The answer might surprise you. This is a Lions take from Chance.
We've been full of tragedies lately.
I have an opinion. Aaron Glenn deserves more credit for slowing down the Vikings offense. I thought it was a genius strategy. Hey, we don't have a secondary, so we can't lay back in coverage. We have to attack.
We have to blitz everybody all the time.
Pretty good strategy.
So is Chance saying that he's triggered by the narrative being that Sam Darnold is back to is a pumpkin?
Okay, yeah, I think that might be
because that is definitely the takeaway from the game. It's like, oh boy, not a good one from Sammy D.
More like Sam Darnold,
because there were some guys that were open,
wide open,
and Sammy D didn't quite hit him.
He did not.
But what Chance is saying is that Aaron Glenn sped him up. He rearranged the body clock for him.
Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock.
Boom, boom, boom. It's like what happened to Nebrasketball in the second half last night. Just, whoa, what happened? So I would be willing to give him more credit. Although Aaron Glenn gets a lot of credit.
He's going to be a head coach.
They show him all the time. I feel like he's one of the coordinators that always gets a close-up every game.
Is that because he's good, or is that because he played football prominently and we know who he is?
Well, I mean, the Lions staff has only those guys. It's all former players.
Yeah.
But yeah, we like to show coordinators, but I think we like to show Aaron Glenn, Aaron Glenn or like Cliff Kingsbury. Those are the guys we show the most.
Aaron Glenn was sitting on the bench the last half of the fourth quarter.
Now we need a Pro Football Focus of most screen time for coaches.
Now there's something to do.
Which coach in the NFL gets the most cutaway shots?
There are accounts that do this for movies. Like, hey, Leonardo DiCaprio was in this movie for 45 minutes and 31 seconds.
Yeah. Right.
Let's have those people do it
what
for football.
What would be the first, just out of all of the NFL, or maybe if you just boiled it down to 1 week, or you boiled it down to an entire season, which NFL coach gets the most close-ups?
Head coach or
any coach? Any coach. We take away players because they're always showing Patrick Mahomes.
It's probably
or Drew Lock dancing to "I Put On to My City" for my city.
I would say it is either Tomlin or McVay.
Tomlin gets a ton. Tomlin gets a ton of FaceTime because he's got the Josh Oddson RBF big time.
It's a gift and a
his
curse.
eyes are like,
Can't believe you just did that.
Tomlin's eyes are so crazy.
I would like to murder you.
It hurt just even to do that. Tomlin probably is a great answer to that question.
Thank you. Do you have a?
No, I'm stirring on it a little bit.
Okay.
All right, keep going.
Sal with an opinion.
Sal,
I have an opinion. Sandwiches taste better cut in half.
Excellent take. Excellent opinion. I can't explain it. Sal is correct.
Diagonal for me, straight vertical for the kids. He follows up with
diagonal for me as well. Diagonal for me. Now, follow up, just a quick follow up.
Okay.
Once again, I wholeheartedly support this opinion.
It's a good take.
Quick follow up is, what do you do with your sub sandwiches?
Oh, yeah, you're not really cutting those diagonally.
Some of them are pre-cut. Some of them are cut.
Sure.
Some of them are cut for you. Some of them are cut diagonally. Some of them are cut straight across. Jimmy John's, you would never cut a Jimmy John's. You just eat the whole sandwich, and then all the meat flies out of it at the end.
That's why you got to go light mayo. Easy
light mayo.
Easy mayo.
I don't think so. As is, Josh.
I can't have that thing. Well, sure. Can't have that thing running around like a slick track.
No, it is a little difficult to handle at the end. It's
yeah.
like Nebrasketball in the second half last night. Poll question.
Jimmy John's is very good.
Is the end of your Jimmy John's sandwich when all the meat flies out, kind of like Nebrasketball in the second half last night?
Okay.
If you got enough characters for that one, go ahead and put that up there.
I got one more.
I think I do want the sub sandwich cut. I like to see that. I like to see that. I like to see the guts of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the crosshatch.
It just doesn't look the same when you open up the sandwich hatch. You know, Bloop, what's going on under here? I don't want to look at that. I want to look at the cross section. So there you go. I agree with that opinion. Should we go to the text line here?
I got one more on YouTube.
Okay.
SEAL Team Nick. I have an opinion. If you buy tools from Target, you definitely need to get your testosterone levels checked.
Wow.
Shots fired at one of our own.
Wow. Why does it matter where you get your tools from? You got to go to Home Depot or Lowe's to get your tools?
I didn't know Target had tools.
Oh, they got tools. They got everything. No. They got tools.
What brand? Target brand?
DeWalt.
Great value.
I don't know. I don't know what brand they have.
Up and Up.
They have, there's a whole section of the store that you probably don't go to that has things that you could buy for your house. When I go to Target, yeah, I'm usually spending most of my time in the grocery section or the like the toiletries, like toothpaste and things like that, or the cleaning supplies or the electronics or the candy. But that's all on one half of the store. There's another half that has clothes and stuff that you can do stuff with.
You venturing over to the other side for that baby section nowadays?
I do not do the shopping for the baby.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever bought any item of clothes for my I don't think I've bought very many items of clothes for my child. Except for that Royals
good
onesie.
I don't think you're gonna like sharing that.
What do you mean?
Just makes you come across as very inattentive.
Oh, no, I'm very attentive.
I know you are. I know you to be.
Why'd you say that then? I love my daughter.
Someone's gonna hear that and go, I've never bought anything for my daughter.
She's a girl. My wife takes care of it. She can dress her the way she wants.
It's a very
I don't care how she's dressed.
Very fashionable baby.
I know. And there's a reason for that. It's because my wife buys all the stuff.
I have considered
and all the rest of them are gifts.
Several things that are clothes for your daughter and said, I
don't know if this would be my wife's style.
Yeah, I don't know if this would pass the bar. I'm not going to buy it. Because I don't want your wife to feel obligated. Like, okay, we have to put her in the
Thank you for that. Most people wouldn't think about that.
And take a picture and send it to Josh, which you don't have to do, but many people feel obligated.
I mean, she wears 6 outfits a day because she poops on 5 of them.
Yeah.
So
it
wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Is Connor's baby a lot like Nebraska basketball?
Poops a lot
themselves.
All right. To the text line. Should we head there?
We should. Poll question up, by the way. At Happer Show, is the Jimmy John sandwich at the end a lot like Nebraska basketball in the second half of games?
There you go. And at the end when the meat flies out.
Okay.
At the end when the meat flies out.
We can add that.
All right. Yeah. I don't like deleting stuff, but we got to have that.
We got to get it right.
Brian.
Hi, Brian.
I have an opinion. Ice fishing is dumb. Those two words should never be paired together. Fishing is a warm weather activity. Now, you have to understand something about Josh Oddson and Connor Happer. We don't fish.
Not the outdoorsy type.
We ain't fishing. You don't want to bait a hook? You don't. Nope.
Don't care to learn either.
A couple times somebody gave me a fishing pole and they said, chuck this thing in the water and you might catch something. And I did, and it was fine. I found myself bored with it every time I did it. And I would never take hours and hours out of my day. And especially a weekend or a week or whatever. People go on fishing trips.
Yeah.
Trips to fish.
My wife's side of the family.
So I have little opinions on fishing outside of that. But the way I see it, ice fishing is the same as fishing.
Yes, absolutely. The cousins on my wife's side, they do a big ice fishing trip every February. It falls right around Valentine's Day. Yeah, where they're just for like 5 days in a hut ice fishing. And
I like the idea of camaraderie.
I love camaraderie, but they don't invite me.
Because you ain't fishing.
They know.
Because you don't know what you're doing.
I think the first time they invited me, I said, I don't know, guys. That's pretty close to Valentine's Day. I don't think it would go over well. And then that told them everything they needed to know.
Right. Because you were just using that as an excuse.
Yeah.
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 Like, okay, this guy doesn't want to go. We're not going to make him.
And I appreciate that.
It's like making the guy who doesn't golf go, hey, come golfing with us. It's a bachelor party. We're going to go golf. It's like, oh, you're not going to like it.
I'll drive the cart.
I'll drive. Why don't I just drive the cart? Exactly. Do I have to rent clubs? Yeah. That's us in fishing. Pedro.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, guys. I have an opinion. I think Jimmy Carter had the best rock and rollers at the White House. Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, Niles Rogers, Greg Allman, and others. R.I.P. Jimmy.
I think
I don't know what other rockers have come to the White House under other presidents. It's possible that Pedro is correct.
Kid Rock has been to the
Kid Rock has been to the White House. Kid Rock has been to the White House. What other rockers have been to the White House?
Hard pressed to think of any rocker in the
I bet
last
John
20
Rocker's
years.
probably been to the White House now.
Well, now
John Rocker, he's a great American.
Gotta look that up now. John Rocker, White House.
Nothing. I mean, Braves won the World Series when he
comes
was
up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
I have an opinion. Dan Campbell deserves less credit than his coordinators for the Lions' success. Wow. A lot of Lions coaching takes today on I Have an Opinion.
He went 0-16 as a player
Why
for
would
the
we
Lions.
take credit away from Dan Campbell? No, we're not. I'm not interested in doing that. Dan with his big podium.
That team is biting kneecaps. We all laughed at him when he said that.
Yes, he's changed the culture. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. Brian writes in.
Hi, Brian.
I have an opinion. If Connor has to change his child's clothes 6 times in a day because they poop a lot, maybe he should try putting diapers on his daughter. Brian, I assume you're a father. Doesn't always work.
You put those things on tighter.
Sometimes it escapes.
Sure.
The tighter it is, the further it escapes. That's all.
It do be like that sometimes.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. Jason.
Hi, Jason.
I have an opinion that people that do nothing but complain about referees and probably never referee again, they should try it. It's not easy, and there is no replay. Well, there is some replay, but not like live with your eyes.
Okay.
Have you ever reffed anything? Have you ever reffed a thing?
No.
It is hard.
Oh, yeah.
I reffed in I wanted to make a couple bucks in college, so I reffed some intramural games.
Hell yeah.
And I found it was easier for me as the game became quicker and more skilled.
Oh.
But I had one big bugaboo. I couldn't get situation alert, baseline, ball gets tapped underneath the hoop and it goes out of bounds at the baseline, right? I could always decipher which person had touched it last, but then my brain scrambles itself and I never remembered which way to point.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes I would just guess. Just start pointing the other way, and they'd be like, "What?" And I'd be like, "Oh God, you're right. I guess I didn't really mean that, but you can't take it back." Right? It's very, very difficult for me. Reffing is hard. I can't confirm that. As a person who's reffed intramurals, Corey.
Hi, Corey.
I have an opinion. I'm a lifelong Nebraska fan, and Nebraska fans are never satisfied at progress if there is a loss. Nebrasketball and football have made big strides, and the greatest fans in college football always think the world is ending whenever they lose, no matter who it is against. From Corey. Corey, I don't think people think the world is ending with Nebraska basketball. I really don't think that. I think that would be a gross overestimation of how Nebraska basketball fans feel about what happened last night. I don't think they think the sky is falling. I think they're frustrated and they're expressing that frustration. And there are some on the fringes of reality that use a loss like that as a reason or an excuse to say this team sucks and will never be good and all that. Like, whatever. That's not really happening, in my opinion.
They felt like they were on the cusp of something, and this detracts from that.
Yeah, but it's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a lot of people who are like, well, the sky is falling. This team is over. This season's done. I don't think anybody's actually saying that.
No.
Chris.
Hi, Chris.
I have an opinion. If the Chiefs win another Super Bowl, their fan base will become even more insufferable. What do you mean? They would go from 0 insufferable to more than that?
Seems impossible.
They're not insufferable.
Chris.
The Chiefs fans aren't insufferable.
See, when it hits the ear like that, it just not sounding right.
Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
Dummy here. This is less of an opinion and more of a personal experience. I umped for the Y, and my brain would scramble the sign for out and safe, and parents got very angry. Tough hang there from Jeff. All right, anything else coming in, Josh?
Just, hey.
Well, you seem a little distracted. Have you been looking stuff up for the last couple minutes? What are you checking out?
Well, I was looking up John Rocker, who definitely calls it Gulf of America, as Charles said. I was looking up some other things realized I hadn't posted the Odd News podcast. I mean, yeah, I guess a little bit.
Okay.
Had to put that poll question up.
Yeah, I was sorry. It was a wordy one.
No, it's fine. I think it's a good, solid poll question. I'm excited to see the results at Happer Show on Twitter. JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed.
Yes. Strigori writes in.
Hi, Strigori.
Connor strikes me as a guy who wears a lot of free t-shirts and polos. Strigori, what a read.
We're in sports. We're in radio. We're in it for the free shirts.
Thank you for saying shirts.
Yeah.
One of the projects that I had while we were off that week was to go through my closet and throw away the stuff that I don't need. And
wow. I should have done that.
It's
good
all,
idea.
It's all of it. It's all of it.
I got like 6 shirts.
If you reduced me down to literally 4 shirts, I would be sad. Like, I would be sad to lose all of the shirts, but it wouldn't take me much time to gain more shirts, and nothing about my life would change at all. I would just wear those 4 shirts. I could absolutely get by with wearing 4 shirts. What I really need is more pairs of underwear.
Oh, you didn't get that for Christmas?
No, I got socks.
Okay.
Now my amount of socks is larger than my amount of underwear, and that throws off the laundry cycle.
Poll question: could you live with just 4 shirts? Would there a better way to word
Would
it?
your life change dramatically if you only had 4 shirts?
Okay.
Because the answer is no, right? Great read by Strigori. Because look at this. You think I bought this?
You think, ooh, Big Ten, yes.
Here's
my credit card number.
A panda headband from the Girl Scouts, a Big Ten quarter zip that I got for being on the table crew at Nebraska women's basketball games, and I bought my shoes and pants. Josh, what do we got? What are we cooking today?
Connor, I'm wearing a hat from Baseballism that I did not pay for.
Mm-hmm.
I am wearing an Iowa Western sweatshirt that I did not pay for.
Mm-hmm.
Track pants from Iowa Western that I did not pay for.
Attaboy.
I am wearing socks that were a Christmas gift.
Amazing.
I'm pretty sure I bought the underwear, but I don't know.
What about the glasses? Where'd you get those?
I bought these, I'm guessing, almost 15 years ago.
So it's like you really didn't buy
Target.
them at all.
Yeah.
A past version of yourself.
They're paid off. Let's put it that way.
Oh, sorry. I missed this opinion.
Joel had one. Is that the one you're about to read?
Well, there was another one on text line, but okay, do Joel's.
Okay.
Do Joel's.
Let me, come on, load. Joel. He sent this one earlier in the week and resent it to us.
Thank you.
I want to make sure and read it.
He also tried to say that, I know you guys got this. We did not have it.
No, thank you for resending, Joel. I have an opinion. If you're graduating, you don't need to make a graphic announcing that you're declaring for the NFL draft.
Is that true? Don't you have to declare intent? I mean, I guess you could just file the paperwork.
Just file the paperwork.
All right, just file the paperwork. Okay, I agree with that. Hey, if I had people working for me who I could just tell them, hey, whip up a little graphic there, I'd be doing that.
Sure. Ashton Genty has foregoed his.
He's forewent. He's foregone.
On 3 had a very embarrassing typo yesterday.
Nice.
When they said he foregoed his senior season.
What if we did a graphic for like me? It's me, but I went out to go fill up my water bottle in the break.
Thirsty.
But it's like me, and there's the blue sky and the bright shining light behind me is like refilled water bottle.
Refill.
And then I did like a message every single time. It was like Connor Happer will be participating in the crossover today,
despite not having a full water container. God's plan.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great day for me. So from the 308, I have an opinion. Heinrich Harburg and Harper Murray need to have a baby. Boy or girl, Nebraska wins.
Hell yeah.
We love that.
Great opinion.
We love that. What's a Husker? Always a Husker. Pedro says, hi, guys. My other opinion is that I think you, meaning you and I, would pick each other to work with, even if you were not forced to work with each other.
Definitely.
I agree with that. Yes.
Right. Another good read by the audience.
Yep. You guys got us. You got us all figured out. All right, we'll be back. Still plenty to cover here on a Wednesday. Robin will join us at the top of the hour. Thank you for participating. And I have an opinion. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Great news. Major League Baseball Network has the 2019 All-Star Game on now.
We're working our way back.
And I believe this is the last All-Star Game that we had where the players wore normal jerseys. History.
Oh, look, that's a Twins jersey.
Yep,
A
that's Diamondbacks jersey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A Braves jersey.
There's Ronnie. There's your boy. Look at the names on the back of the jerseys. They're gigantic.
They're huge.
I can't wait till we have that. We're less than 3 months away from everybody kind of overreacting about the names on the back of the baseball jerseys again. But this time they're going to say they're way too big.
I don't remember them being this big.
And then we will get used to them and we will be fine.
Yep. But is MLB Network inserting their own graphics? Like that's not what was on the original Fox graphic.
So I
That's
think
not
they
the
actually
original
brought
Scorebug.
I think MLB Network has the rights to like an alternate, like they have a broadcast of this game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're probably just playing that. But yeah, it's odd. Here's a text from the 308.
Hi, 308.
Did you know the song Brandy by Looking Glass sounds like it's being sung by Barack Obama? Play it coming back from break and tell me I'm wrong.
Oh.
I did not know that.
No.
And it would just take too many buttons to click for Josh to do that. We have to turn it off on the stream.
Yeah, it's copyright. Yeah.
We can still play stuff over the radio. I
We'll
guess.
listen to it during the break.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
And maybe comment.
I'll look into it.
Yeah.
I'll look into it. Josh,
Connor.
bowl games.
Love them.
They suck, right? They don't matter. Nobody cares.
Nobody plays in them.
Nobody plays in them, and nobody wants to watch them. Au contraire. Oh, you're probably just talking about the college football playoff games.
Blowouts.
Of course, people want to watch those. No, I'm talking about the ones that don't matter. 21 of the 30 non-playoff bowls that aired on an ESPN network through January 2nd saw year-over-year viewership increases. The majority of them by 20% or more.
What?
That seemed mildly disingenuous, Josh. I appreciate this, but
20%?
Yeah, okay. Or you actually are surprised by this.
I am surprised.
Steve Hogan, the CEO of Florida Citrus Sports,
Hulk's brother,
which runs the Citrus and the Pop-Tarts Bowls, said, quote, people want to see more college football. If people were wondering whether fans have zero interest, that question was answered in the past 3 weeks. So, non-playoff games, highest rated non-playoff game. Would you care to guess?
Highest rated non-playoff game?
Highest rated playoff, non-playoff bowl game. Yes.
Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Second.
Okay. Pinstripe Bowl?
Down the list a little bit.
Darn.
Although it did a really good number, 4.2 million.
Mayo Bowl?
Not on the list.
That Alabama-Michigan game?
Third.
Okay.
You're going to be like,
okay, tell me.
The Alamo Bowl between BYU and Colorado.
Coach Prime effect.
8 million people watched the Alamo Bowl this year. 8 million people watched the Alamo Bowl this year.
What? Are there 8 million NFL scouts? Really?
Yes, yeah. There are. 6.8 million people watched the Pop-Tarts Bowl. 6.5 million people watched Michigan, Alabama, ReliaQuest Bowl. 5 million people watch Ole Miss and Duke. 5 million sickos.
Why are y'all watching blowouts?
4 million people, 4.3 million people watch Illinois and South Carolina in the Citrus Bowl on New Year's Eve. The same amount about watched LSU and Baylor on New Year's Eve. The same amount about watched the Lib Bowl between Arkansas and Texas Tech on Friday, December 27th. 4.2 million people watched Nebraska and Boston College in the Pinstripe Bowl on Saturday morning, December 28th. And 4 million people watched. Now, there is no explanation for this. 4 million people watched Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech in the Birmingham Bowl on December 27th. Now, I guess the explanation is everybody had the week off and nobody was doing anything. Let's put on football all day long. Oh, Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech is on. Cool. Let's keep it on. 4 million people watched that game. Kind of nuts.
I watched a lot of bowl games here in this very chair during bowl week.
So you were one of the millions.
Because it was quite literally the only thing on.
Here's my fear. Everyone is going to try and do what the Pop-Tart Bowl did now, and that sort of makes me anxious. I don't like that.
Nope. We can't have everyone doing it.
Clearly, I mean, it's a good game, right? It's a couple like borderline playoff teams.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that part of it kind of sells a little bit. It definitely adds to it. We talked about it the other day, like the original weirdo internet game was probably the Potato Bowl when they started dumping French fries on people. So, but generally, what is the reason for this? I don't really have a definitive answer for you, but I have some ideas, I guess. Opt-outs have become the norm in these games. And for that reason, we don't hear much about it anymore. I think it's still happening. I mean,
we got to that being white noise super quick.
Really
right?
fast.
Yeah.
And does that directly affect how many people watch the games? I don't know. And I would actually venture to guess I don't think so. But indirectly, I do believe it affects how people feel about the games, about how people feel about college football, about all this other, stuff. And I know people are full of crap when they say, hey, well, the transfer portal's open and there's NIL money and the game is totally different. I'm not watching it anymore. Or the NFL's too woke, so I'm not watching anymore. Like, they're full of crap. But
100% of the time.
100% of the time. But if you have a general distaste toward the way you feel like the sport is headed, the direction that you think the sport is headed, then you are less likely to watch. Is that fair?
Yes.
Like,
yes,
I'm not going
yes.
to go out of my way to watch a thing that I have distaste toward.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there is hate watching. But I do think
people do it with Colin Cowherd every day.
So how do you think the general fan feels today? The general college football fan feels today about, now when I say the sport, I don't mean the sport, right? The way we talk about the sport.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the football.
Pretty good, right?
People watch the football.
Yeah.
People watch the football. And so that in there is a little dangerous because they know, the people who run the sport or people who are going to run the sport, they know this is an unstoppable train coming down the tracks.
Sure.
Nothing will stand in the way of our 4 million viewers or our 8 million viewers for the Pop-Tarts Bowl. They will watch. It's just as dangerous. I mean, we talk about this with Nebraska fans all the time. It's been difficult for Nebraska, and in fact, it has not happened. Nebraska has sold out every game for 60 years. And for the majority of the last 10, they've sucked the entire time. And we've had these conversations about the sellout streak, and people don't want to let it die because they'll go. And so I think Nebraska can kind of use that to their advantage. You hope that they don't, but they can. Right? People are going to show up. We put a product out there and people are going to show up. So it's encouraging in a way, and it's also discouraging in a way. Because you could get taken advantage of by the rest of the sport changing all the way around you, knowing at the end of the day, you're still going to watch the football. This year had so much change in the sport. Big brands are in different conferences. The playoff is larger.
Remember
NIL,
the first 2 weeks of the season? It was nonstop. The announcers were like, this is the most different college football season you've ever seen.
NIL, transfer portal, all that stuff. But generally across the board, the numbers didn't change. And for the bowl games, the numbers got better. And so what does that tell you? that they could do anything they want.
Yeah. Because
they could do anything they want. And that's really dangerous, but also encouraging from the sense that the sport's not going anywhere, right? Like we're not going to lose it.
in the end, you're playing football. And when you're playing football with that many teams, somehow, some way, a half dozen games every Saturday or, during bowl week are going to be tight in the fourth quarter, or maybe they go to 5, 6, 7, 8 overtimes. I'm going to find it and I'm going to watch. I don't care who's playing. I may not know a single player that is playing in the game, but you're playing football. It's close. I'm watching.
It's embedded into the fabric of these people.
I'm gonna sit on the couch and watch football all day.
Yep.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Exactly. it's ingrained into your annual routine.
Yep. So don't need to fear. College football not going anywhere. But also the sport will continue to change rapidly.
It'll grow, it'll ebb, it'll flow.
Yep. All right. We'll be back to round out the hour. College basketball tiers is a topic for our show today.
Nebraska fans?
Nebraska
tears.
Basketball start. No, not tears. Like not crying tears.
Oh, I've already drank their tears.
Yeah. Robin will join us at the top of the hour. We can talk more basketball with him. Also, I still have an opinion on the virtual golf league.
Yes, this thing you told me I didn't need to worry about.
You want to talk about something that is not ingrained into society? The virtual golf league.
Okay.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. This week's Zone Deal is to Copal Mexican Cuisine at 129th and Maple, Omaha's best kept secret, not for long, with weekend brunch on both Saturdays and Sundays. Sunday fun day, all day happy hour on Sunday as well. This week's Zone Deal, which goes on sale Friday at 9, you get two $25 vouchers, which is a $50 value for just $25, Josh. That's half off.
Half.
And if you need more details than that, you feel free to visit our website, 1620thezone.com. The Nebraska women's basketball team did a reminder that bricking for chicken is still happening. So I wonder if I'll get yelled at tonight when the team when Michigan State misses one free throw in the second half, and then I say, "Hey, bricking for chicken's about to happen. Time to start yelling." And then
bricking for chicken, and then activate it.
And then people start tweeting at me, and they say, "Well, LeConner jinxed it.
It's 3 for 3.
Patrick Mahomes will be there."
The refs kept bricking for chicken from us.
We'll see. All right. So we still have the college basketball tiers thing that I want to do, and then simulator golf take. But I have two things here. First, did you see the story from Tom Pelissero about an hour ago?
Tommy P? No.
Regarding Billy B, Mr. Belichick.
Oh, I actually have seen headlines. I'm doing a radio show. Obviously, I haven't read the article.
So you saw it. Something's going on with Bill Belichick. Tom Pelissero of NFL.com. Multiple NFL teams have inquired about whether legendary coach Bill Belichick would reconsider his move to college football, including the Raiders, whose new minority owner Tom Brady spoke recently with his old coach, per league sources. Remember, Bill Belichick has a $10 million buyout at this very moment, but it goes down to $1 million on June 1st of this year. So he basically has the freedom to leave whenever he wants, but definitely after June 1st. So it officially brings up the question, Josh. Over under. Games coached for Bill Belichick at North Carolina. So do we be really aggressive here and set it at a half a game? Or do we give him a season?
Oh, I feel like we have to set it at today we have to set it at half a game, right?
I mean, it would be hard to believe, but I could see him getting up and saying, just kidding. He doesn't care about people's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
What does he owe to North Carolina?
Dream scenario presented itself. Didn't think it was going to happen. And I'm on to Vegas.
I've always wanted to get back into the NFL.
You're in good hands with my son.
The opportunity to work with Tom, who I love.
You know,
I thought they were on the outs, by the way.
Repatched our relationship.
Okay, all right. That clears that up.
Seth Wickersham doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right, so were we setting the over-under at a half a game coach for North Carolina?
Yeah. I'm going to take the under.
That's a little early for that story to be dropping. A little early. You would have thought he would have got into spring ball first.
Yeah, I kind of need you to go an interestingly long time without hiring a coach there in Vegas before people start asking why that would be.
Happer's Meme Guy writes in.
Hi, Happer's Meme Guy.
Does Bill prefer his mid-20-year-old women in college or in Vegas? We might find out. Dan writes in.
Hi, Dan.
It's going to be really suspicious when the Raiders don't have a head coach for 6 months.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And amazing Daniel on YouTube.
Yeah.
Don't you think North Carolina would negotiate and let him leave for the $1 million early so we don't have to do this for 6 months?
Great point. Great. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe because contracts are just words.
Uh-huh.
You know,
and
Bill Belichick could say, I don't think I'm going to pay $10 million. I don't think I'm going to do that.
He hasn't coached a game for you yet. So just Yeah, okay, you can go. Fine, whatever.
Mhm. Awesome. Sounds great.
Mhm.
The long-awaited debut of a new game that we could play whenever you'd like to, Josh.
Sweeping the nation. This is the one, people.
It is called Why Did This Guy Say This Thing? And it brings us to a tweet yesterday from a person named Noah Darling.
We are so good at titles, by the way.
Noah Darling. Noah is a college baseball man. He loves college baseball. I had people texting me this tweet yesterday, basically asking that question. Why did this guy say this thing?
Why would he say this?
Here's what he says.
Okay.
A Big Ten baseball team is going to win a national championship in the next 5 to 8 years, and many aren't ready for that conversation. So, without further ado, we play the game. Why did that guy say that thing? What's he cooking?
Do the schools in the Pacific Northwest count as Northern or Western?
It's Big Ten.
Okay.
It's Big Ten. So, that's the path. You're just like, Oregon, bring it home for me. You've been in some super regionals.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon, I believe in you. And you're just saying specifically Oregon is going to win a national championship at some point within the next 5 to 8 years. Then he could take credit for being correct on this.
What was this guy's name again? Noah?
Noah Darling.
Yeah.
Yeah. UCLA and USC aren't doing nothing. I mean, those are historically prominent programs, but have you seen West Coast baseball lately? It ain't good.
No.
I mean, there's not much going on there. And then they join a conference. I mean, remember, Nebraska fans would be able to tell you this better than anybody. Nebraska fans thought everyone, not just Nebraska fans, Nebraska baseball, thought they were going to come into the current league that they're in and wreck it forever, in perpetuity. Didn't happen. The league drugged them down. I do not believe that Nebraska or any other place in the Big Ten is going to be a place that offers as many scholarships as they're not going to have full funding.
You're going to be upset.
Yes, you're not going to be happy about this. Why can't we just fund it fully? Because we have to fund our football and basketball programs fully. You know, I'm not talking about the funding you need to operate a team. I'm talking about pay for play, rev sharing, right? Scholarships.
I mean,
all the SEC teams are going to be maxed out on their whatever 34 scholarships that we talked about before, and the Big Ten's going to be sitting about 17 or whatever it is, and people are going to be like, "Why can't we compete?" And I will say, here is why. This is your answer. The Big Ten, I've given up. They're not going to. The teams in the conference are not going to invest the money that it takes to be successful at baseball. Because their peers don't. Because they don't have to win a conference championship and to stay employed and to get facilities built and all this stuff. Like, they don't have to. So what in the hell makes you think they're going to win a national championship? Nothing. Why did that guy say that thing? What's he cooking?
USC hasn't made the tournament since 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been a couple years since UCLA has. So yeah,
Washington. I don't know what they're cooking up there. I don't know what they're doing up there. Oregon's good, unless you're just betting hard on Oregon. Happer's Meme Guy writes in.
Hi, Happer's Meme Guy.
This segment could be called "Twitter Sickos Say the Darndest Things." What do you think? Twitter sickos say the darndest things, or why did this guy say this thing?
Kind of like that.
I kind of like why did this guy say this thing better.
Washington made the tournament in 23, made it in 18, but it was vacated, and then made it in 16.
Congratulations to them. Ain't no national championships coming the Big Ten's way. Sorry. I wish, I hope, I pray that the Big Ten can invest in its product, its baseball product, put more games on television, add more whatever, build facilities, compare itself to SEC teams or teams in the South, whatever. The Big Ten is not a high major baseball conference. It is a mid-major baseball conference.
So sometimes when a guy says
I'm
a
sorry.
thing,
I'm
and,
I'm very sorry to announce this to people.
like, people come at the tweet so much and he gets so much traffic that they do a follow-up like, hey, you're twisting my words around. Here's what I meant when I said that.
He doubled down.
Has he done this?
I have no idea.
I'm looking now.
Is he doubling down? Is he tripling down? He just said we need to start the conversation.
Somebody sent him a list of the West Coast schools and Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, you're doubt Indiana and Penn State at your own peril. So he seems to think Indiana and Penn State could be added to the list of teams that could get this done.
Perfect. That's definitely not happening.
I really like Husker baseball this year.
I like them too.
Yeah, I'd expect people to question and challenge this, but I have my doubts regarding people whipping out their bookmarks in 9 years. Plus, you'll be wrong anyway.
The internet never knows. Wow. Okay, that's a double down.
Yeah.
That counts. All right. So that's the first edition of Why Did This Guy Say This Thing? I don't know is the answer to the question. It probably always will be. I'll put a bookmark on that. Clicked.
Whoa, Nebraska versus Vandy is going to be on MLB Network.
Yeah. They're going to play him.
On
and
MLB.
they very well could beat him.
Noah says it's a good barometer for both teams.
All right, we're back with Robin Washut coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
the biggest basketball coaching convention of.
Gonna work on your skills while you listen.
What?
You don't want to embarrass. Yeah, I'm talking.
What is going on? Robin, are you okay?
Robin Washut,
Are your kids near you, or what just happened?
Husker Online.
I took a lot of preparation to make this thing a flawless interview, and clearly I still can't avoid it.
Robin Washut, Husker Online.
Maybe it was aliens. Maybe it was a phenomenon that we can't explain.
The Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we're joined now on the phone by Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. Robin, hello. How are you?
Doing well. I'm about 35 miles from the Nebraska border, so the trip is on the downhill roll here. So we're good.
All right,
We're
what's your snack this morning, or did you eat a big breakfast somewhere in Des Moines? What happened?
good. Before I left, and got a kind of an unnecessarily large breakfast sandwich. So that's been tiding me over for the majority of this trip.
Okay, that works. Where was this from? Is this somewhere in Iowa City?
This was from the Courtyard Marriott Hotel in Iowa City.
Nice. Well, we were wondering if you went last night. What was the what would Mick Cronin have thought about the environment last night?
I probably would have thought it was like a sellout home game at UCLA. it was I don't know. They said it was about 7,000, which is probably about right. It felt maybe half full. Both the sidelines were decently full, but the baseline sections were just about empty outside of the band.
Wow. Yeah. It didn't look great on television. That's for sure. Nor did the second half of the game, Robin. What the heck happened? What's the best summation of the second? I mean, really the last 15-ish minutes of that game for Nebraska last night.
That was just a weird ending. I mean, obviously, a lot of the Nebraska fans point to the officiating and just the level of contact that was allowed in that game. And I think that kind of caused Nebraska some problems, because you look at kind of their MO when closing out games, it's by, being the more aggressive team and getting to the free throw line and drawing fouls. Well, they weren't drawing those fouls, and they had to kind of play through a relatively high level of physicality. And I think that kind of threw them off a little bit offensively. And then with the missed shots that were piling up on that end of it, it was leading to transition opportunities for Iowa on the other end. And, I think there was one of those situations where Nebraska's frustration on offense started leaking into their effort on defense, and they weren't getting back. They were allowing Iowa to push the tempo, beat them down the floor, and either if they weren't getting clear past the rim, they were getting easy kickouts for corner threes or trailer threes. And to their credit, they started making them at an unconscious rate. So you pair that with when Nebraska did get to the free throw line, they missed half their shots. That's a recipe for blowing a 15-point second half lead. And I guess if you want to try to spin a silver lining off of a collapse like that, kind of took the perfect storm of all the things that needed to go wrong for Nebraska to go wrong, and they still had a chance to win it. I mean, they make one more free throw, Bryce Williams' three wins it. So, as bad as that ending was, it also, shows that Nebraska had every opportunity to win that game. Was probably the better team in that game, but that doesn't matter in the final result.
Well, this, because I guess I'll just lay this on you. I think it provides a really good learning lesson for Nebraska in when they watch that back and they watched kind of the fourth quarter-ish or whatever of that game back last night, they will notice how fast everything got going for them, and how they just really weren't able to take a deep breath and settle down. And that's from everybody's standpoint, from the coaches, from the players, and all that stuff. I think this is the type of game you lose on January 7th that could provide something for you to look back on later in the year.
Yeah, that's the one good thing, is that it did happen so early. We're 4 games into the conference schedule, and so if you're going to have a quote learning loss, that's a good time to have it. And then you kind of look at the metrics. Nebraska didn't get really penalized at all for that loss. They dropped 3 spots in the net and actually jumped a spot in the Bart Torvik rankings. So that the loss itself didn't do much as far as their like kind of postseason march here. But at the same time, like, and Juwan Gary kind of talked about this last night, is, you know, what troubles you is that this is kind of becoming a continuation of what happened last year, where Nebraska was a top 10 team at Pinnacle Bank Arena, but when they played anywhere else in the league, they looked like they'd never played a game of basketball together. And this was not as bad as Michigan State in terms of not looking like they even belonged on the same court, but you saw when things kind of started to shift against them, they didn't respond the right way. And all the things that they had done so well, really outside of that Michigan State game, in terms of closing out wins, they just weren't doing. And, you know, again, you can blame officials all you want, but at some point guys need to step up and make plays. And there was just too many missed opportunities really across the board for Nebraska to kind of stop the bleeding in that one. And it just got away from them.
One thing that doesn't look pretty from the box score individually, Juwan Gary shooting 21 shots is probably not something that you want on an every game basis.
Well, I look at that too. Like, a bunch of those are just like missed putbacks. Like, he had so many offensive rebounds.
That's true.
Instead of like collecting himself and, you know, resetting the possession, he was just trying to go straight up. And so he'd miss like 2 or 3 shots on a possession because he was getting boards, but also because he wasn't, you know, shooting under control. So that number, the shot total, is a little misleading. A lot of that has to do with just how active he was on the offensive glass, but it goes more to the point of kind of playing out of your head a little bit, to where like you do make a great effort play to extend a possession and get another opportunity, and you just chuck it up and miss a layup, or, you know, shoot into contact, as opposed to trying to reset and organize a legitimate play. So that's where guys like him and, you know, again, there's all the veterans across the board on that lineup, like, they just didn't handle the situation well. Like, there's situations like that. There's the missed free throws.
That's the big takeaway
that they had.
Yes.
Yeah. Like just the mental aspect of it. They didn't do the things that had made them so good to that point when it mattered the most. And that really kind of let Iowa take control and never look back.
And then on the other side, I mean, there's the Iowa shot making piece of it too, which can't be really understated. And like we said, Nebraska didn't get a great job of handling what they could control. At the same time, you know, Peyton Sanford and Josh Dix were, I mean, some of those shots that they got, like, Nebraska would let them shoot those, you know, 100% of the time. And they made a few of them as well. So there's a little bit of this in that game too, where they made some stuff and you can live with it.
Well, that's what Iowa does. I mean, especially on their home court. They're the number 1 scoring team in the conference for a reason. Like, they can light it up at a moment's notice. And that was a perfect example of that, where, you know, Nebraska, they gave up some tough shots, but they also left Josh Dix wide open in the corner, like, far too often. And again, that's kind of a byproduct of the way that they play defense, and that, you know, trap the post and baseline type defense that they run. When, you know, teams aren't playing through their bigs, which Iowa didn't, it's going to leave a bunch of guys open on the perimeter, and the rotations weren't, you know, hard enough, and they weren't, you know, closing out aggressively enough. And, you know, while Iowa did hit some tough shots, they also hit a bunch of wide open ones. And that's the last team in the conference you want to let just fire away with a 3-point shooting contest, because they're going to win it every time.
All right. And so then coming up, Purdue is a big challenge now on the road. At, you know, Nebraska hasn't won at Mackey ever.
Never.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's a challenge. It's a different challenge than it has been over the last couple of years. And like you said, there is this trend now where Nebraska is kind of known as a team that wins all their games at home and has a tough time winning on the road. I don't know how abnormal that is for just college basketball, but it feels like there is a little bit of, hey, we gotta go and find our way to win this one on Sunday.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what just makes that last night's loss so hard to swallow, because they actually had a legitimate opportunity to get one. And if you win that game and suddenly you're 2-0 to start that kind of daunting 5-game stretch to open January, and you got Rutgers coming up next week, like, you're feeling pretty good of potentially walking away with 3 or more wins out of that 5-game stretch. And so that it's more just kind of the sick feeling for Nebraska that they let one that they could have had get away. And now you got to try to make that up. And it's only going to get harder. Purdue is going to be a daunting task. But like you said, they're not the same Purdue team that Nebraska's, at least in Lincoln, had good success against. But you know, they're still full of all conference level players, and like most teams in the league, they play significantly better on their home floor. And Nebraska has not only lost there every time they played there, they've often lost by pretty significant margins. So like that's a tough task to go in there and try to expect to get back on track. And so now it's kind of a deal where, you know, Nebraska, even if they don't win, they got to make sure that they're competitive, because if they go and lose by 20 in this one, then all of a sudden, like, you know, all the momentum you had built up to get on the precipice of a top 25 ranking is, you know, starting to fall out the window. Even if these road losses aren't hurting you in the net rankings, like there's just a kind of a confidence issue that Nebraska is going to need to try to overcome. So win or lose, Nebraska's got to come ready to play. They can't sit there and feel sorry about themselves, and that's just kind of the nature of the Big Ten beast right now, where, you know, whether you're playing, you know, Illinois or you're playing Minnesota, like you better be dialed in, because every team in the league can beat you on any given night.
Connor Essegian made 6 threes against Southern last Monday. Outside of that, in the last 5 games, I guess not including that one, so 4 out of the last 5 games, he's made just 4 total threes, including 0 on Saturday against UCLA, and then 2 out of 6 last night. You read anything into that? And obviously, a lot of people are talking about, you know, what Nebraska's doing while he's on the floor, and he's serving a purpose, which is being a threat and spacing. But anything to read into a little bit of a cold stretch for him here?
It's kind of just been so hot and cold with him, where, you know, he's had multiple games of hitting 6 3-pointers, but then, you know, has kind of gone AWOL in a lot of games, including most of the Big Ten games he's played this season. So I guess, you know, for Nebraska to play at its full potential offensively, like, he's a critical element to that, because he is their best 3-point threat. And I guess the good news is that, you know, I guess I didn't see what his final plus minus was against Iowa, but like, even though he went 0 for 6 against UCLA, he was still like plus 24 or something like that.
Yeah.
With the impact that he made. And I think what that is
-4 last night.
Okay, so maybe it's this, but I guess by and large, like, his impact, even when he's not making shots, I guess it's still important to have him out there, because even when
I agree,
he's going through a bit of a struggle, like, he is the best 3-point threat, and defenses have to account for him. Teams cannot afford to let him get hot. And so even if he's not making shots, his presence opens things up, and teams can't just pack the lane and, you know, worry about stop and dribble drives from Bryce Williams and Juwan Gary. So I guess that's kind of the benefit of continuing to have him out there, but they need to get him going. There's no question about it. When he's hitting threes, Nebraska is an extremely dangerous team because of the way they play defense. And if they add that 3-point element to their offense, they can match up with pretty much anyone.
All right, Robin. Appreciate you taking the time, as always. Enjoy the rest of that drive back to Crime Town. See you later.
Yeah, I'm actually going to tune into the rest of your show here.
Oh, on terrestrial radio?
Yeah, the radio waves are about to hit the old antenna here. So
wow,
excited.
Okay, enjoy the rest of this show then.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Bye. It's Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com.
Okay, we got to do a good job because Robin's listening.
What should we talk about? The Giants?
Oh, man. Can you believe they're keeping everybody? Seems like a bad call.
If we could get him angry enough to have him call back into the show just as a listener, then we will have done our jobs.
Don't listen to the podcasts where I talk about Nebrasketball.
Josh, are you being sarcastic? Nebrasketball is good?
They're good.
So Essegian, 2 out of 7 last night, 2 out of 6 from 3. People always do the plus minus thing with him. Like, you could say he's a valuable player without making shots, but at the same time, he does have to make shots. To Robin's point, like, in order for Nebraska, and like, it's not like offense was the gigantic problem last night against Iowa, but I mean, in order for Nebraska to be the best version of itself, I mean, they are the best version of itself when he is making shots. He's had these like huge supernova games. He's had 3 games this year where he's made 5 threes. That's pretty good.
I like that.
They were against. He's had 4 games where he's made 5 threes. Is that what I said? He's had 4 games this year where he's made at least 5 threes. 6 against South Dakota, 6 against North Florida, 5 against Murray State, and 6 against Southern. Outside of that,
okay,
it's a little more quiet.
There's a trend there,
but still, he is an effective and valuable player when he's out on the floor. And then to flip it back the other way, if he's taking the shots, you want him to make more than what he's looking at right now. He's definitely a good floor spacer and a space creator when Bryce Williams is getting cooking.
You can definitely see his value for sure
when he's doing his thing. All right, we will come back. Still a few things that we have to get to here on the show as we continue watching the 6th inning of the 2019 All-Star Game, where Whit Merrifield's wearing a Kansas City Royals uniform.
We got a Brave on the bump.
And he just flew out to left.
Good job, Soroka.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
All right, if you missed it, Nebraska football earlier today added Alabama tackle Elijah Pritchett out of the transfer portal. There's a likely starting tackle next year for the Cornhuskers.
Get an NIL deal with various doctors around town. I'm just thinking for him.
You can get an NIL deal with anybody.
Clean slate.
And get an NIL deal with anybody. Which leads us to a tweet from Matt Rule. Matt Rule. What's he doing with his offseason?
Yeah.
Well,
him and Holgo going on a elaborate vacation.
Well, him and Holgo were at the basketball game on Saturday.
Oh, hello.
They put Holgo on the screen. I was like, that's Holgo. Rule was there too. He's piecing together the puzzle of the football team for next year. And he is literally doing a puzzle. Literally doing a puzzle.
Okay.
17 minutes ago, at Coach Matt Rule tweeted #GBR and a picture of a gigantic Nebraska-themed puzzle that he's currently assembling or that someone in his life is currently assembling. Much like the puzzle of Nebraska's football team.
I was going to say, do we think this is a metaphor?
I think Matt Rule does metaphorical tweets. Yes.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of, at the very least, there's Matt Rule memes. What Rule could have done here is he could have done a selfie of him in the puzzle. That way it becomes a meme, right? We can just put it out there anytime he's assembling a puzzle. Because the one we currently have that everybody is using as Nebraska continues to do generally well in the transfer portal and the acquisition of players, who could have predicted this, is the one where he's got a pan and an apron.
Okay, yeah.
And he's chefing. What's he cooking in there? So there you go. Matt Rule's doing a puzzle.
Okay, everyone in the replies to this also seems to believe that this is a metaphor.
It's not. It's just he tweeted out a picture of a puzzle. Because he's an interesting guy. Mike Schaefer has a whole puzzle room at his house. At least we learned that in the crossover.
But no puzzles.
But no puzzles. But a room that is dedicated to doing puzzles.
Did he call Matt Rule and say, hey, Matt, I want to talk to you about the team, the portal for, Husker 247. Why don't you come to my puzzle room?
Matt Rule really strikes me as a guy who, if you told him, hey, we're sitting around for Christmas and we're going to do a 500-piece puzzle, and here it is, he would definitely be all about it for about 3 minutes and then leave and get bored and do something else.
All right, you guys, okay.
His brain moves too fast to do a puzzle.
I've got it started. You guys go.
Yeah. So he's got the puzzle. Jance says he's just puzzled by Sam Darnold now. Many people are. What is he? Is he good? Is he bad? I don't know. Puzzle. That's the puzzle.
How many millions?
I saw earlier on Twitter too, and somebody mentioned him in our chat earlier that Nebraska was in on a corner prospect from Arizona. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Where did I see this?
I believe a Fong bomb has gone off.
Oh, there was a Fong. Okay, hang on.
I gotta
check the Fong.
Don't quote me on that.
I gotta check the Fong. Hang on. Let's see. I couldn't have been. I mean, you think we're that deep into the process? Yeah. Well, he retweeted it. On threes, Steve Wilfong at Pete Nakos and Nebraska insider Sean Callahan have logged predictions for the Huskers to land Arizona transfer cornerback Marquise Groves Killebrew. Harmon, the baseball player? Marquise Groves Killebrew, CB new prediction. Now, here's the interesting part of this hashtag graphic from our dear friends at On3.
Oh my gosh, I'm just seeing this now. Okay, go on.
So apparently, Mr. Groves Killebrew has started his career at Texas A&M,
SEC,
and then decided that was not for him. Ended up at Louisville,
ACC.
He decided that was not for him. Then ended up at Arizona this past year, and
Big 12.
I believe that's right. And has also decided that is not for him, and it is being predicted at this point that he will finish his career or make his next stop. I shouldn't say finish career.
There you go.
Make his next stop in the Big Ten. That's Nebraska.
That's the 4 power conferences.
You can hit them all.
Did you know there's a confidence level as well on this?
Yeah, it's only 60%.
I'd like it to be higher.
Yeah. Are you saying that we've jumped the shark with the CBs at this point?
No. I'd like the confidence level to be higher. I want to get this kid.
Okay. You need him.
We need MGK on this team.
Have you ever clicked on one of the links to these things too?
No, I assume there's a paywall every single time.
Well, there is, but they just take you to like if you're in on the paywall, it just takes you to like the rankings. It doesn't have anything to do with the actual
like an
person
actual page
that's located
that
in
player?
the graphic.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a lot of stuff out there these days, Josh. A lot of stuff out there.
A lot of noise.
Yep. A lot of stuff going on.
We distill the noise for you.
College basketball tiers.
Oh.
You don't seem that interested in this topic.
No,
you were like, oh.
No, I'm sorry. Is this rankings with tiers?
I don't see rankings next to them.
Okay,
just
so
the
these are
tiers.
not your
No.
Okay.
No, they're not from me. This is what college basketball people think of college basketball.
I do need to get brought up to speed.
Okay, well, this will be a good time to fill you in.
Nationally, who's in, who's out?
I would agree with this tier 1, by the way. These are the teams that are being chased right now for a national championship.
Auburn.
One of them. Can you get the other 2? There's 3.
I hear Iowa State's good.
You got it. And
There's 3.
it might be difficult to adjust your brain to Auburn and Iowa State maybe being the best 2 teams in the country, but get used to it. Here we are.
Until last night, I would have said Tennessee. Florida? Is it an SEC school? It's the best conference in America. Oh, is Marquette the 3rd team? No. All right. For the sake of brevity, let's go.
Duke.
Oh, I have heard that. Yes, they.
Did you see the Cooper Flag dunk?
You know, I did actually. Now that you say that.
Okay. There you go. That explains everything you need to know. Tier 2 Final 4 contenders.
Okay.
Many of the teams, in fact, all of the teams that you just mentioned: Alabama, Tennessee, Marquette, Houston, UConn, Florida, Gonzaga, Kansas, Texas A&M, Kentucky, Illinois, and Memphis. Illinois, the only representative from the Big Ten Conference on that list. The Big East has 2.
Wow.
Marquette and UConn.
Careful, Connor. Careful.
What? It's never about the Big Ten versus the Big East.
Is Houston gonna finally?
Yeah, Houston's really good.
But are they finally gonna do it? Like,
well, they did it.
I mean, they made the Final Four in 21. I know it's hard to make a Final Four, but
didn't they go to the national championship game?
I don't know. No, 83 and 84. It says
going to the national championship game.
Mm-hmm. Runner up.
Yeah, 5 seed against 2006. Anyway, yeah, Houston's really good.
Mm-hmm.
They continue to be really good. So they're in the 2nd tier.
Tier 12.
Tier 3, second weekend threats. Right? These are Sweet 16 caliber teams.
Okay.
This is where we get some Big Teners. Oregon, UCLA, Michigan State, Maryland, Michigan, Purdue, all of which are
that's a lot of Big Ten
tier. Yes. Mississippi State is on this list.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oklahoma is on this list. St. John's, Baylor, Arizona.
Usual suspects, right? More or less.
Nothing crazy so far.
Mississippi State's a little weird.
Here's where the local teams start to come into play.
Okay.
Tier 4 of college basketball. These teams are capable of winning a tournament game. One of the teams is the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Capable of winning an NCAA tournament game.
It's amazing that they didn't remove them from all the tiers altogether after losing last night to Iowa in such horrific fashion. If you can't tell, I'm being very sarcastic right
capable. Now. I don't come on the radio and say Nebraska is capable.
I think they're going to win an NCAA tournament game this year.
Feels like middling support.
I'm ready. It's time.
Nebraska ball is good.
are you not willing to go out on the limb? Everybody's going to be predicting it by the end of February. Everybody's going to be like, this is the year we're winning an NCAA tournament game. And then it like won't happen and everybody will be wrong about it. But it will be old news to predict it at the end of February.
I would need to see a bracket. It's all about matchups, Connor, and guard play.
Jeez, Josh, give me a break. This is why we do these tiers. This is why we do the tiers. Like you could win a game. You could go to the second weekend. You could go to the Final Four.
What if they play an SEC team right away?
Which SEC team?
Mississippi State. 8-9 matchup.
I don't think Mississippi State would be an 8 at this point.
Damn it.
Maybe, but I don't know. I'd need to see a bracket. Check my bracketology. Arkansas also in this tier.
Calipari.
Some other notables: Wisconsin, Ohio State, which once again I just don't know. San Diego State is in this tier. Texas Tech is in this tier. Louisville is in this tier. Then a tier down: dangerous bubble teams.
Ooh.
Texas, St. Mary's, Dayton, Cincinnati, Georgia, Missouri, BYU, and Creighton.
Now, what is
I
this?
actually think that our two local teams are very appropriately placed.
Yeah.
Very appropriately placed in this. I would categorize Creighton as a team that is dangerous, but they have to make the tournament first. I would categorize Nebraska as a team that is pretty dang good and probably should win a tournament game.
Yeah, that's
like a top like 30-ish team in the country. Creighton's probably in the neighborhood of. There's not much difference between the two.
Wow.
And then when we get the bracket, it'll be all about the matchups and the bracket, right? But there's not much difference between the two.
Could Creighton be in that 11 seed play-in game where that team always seems to upset the team they play in the actual first round?
Yeah.
Yep.
We have not experienced that yet.
No.
Around here. As many years as we talk about the bubble, it's never worked out, so they've been actually directly on the bubble. They've either missed the tournament, and in some cases severely when they thought they were going to make the tournament, or they've made it comfortably. In the last couple of years with Creighton, I mean, they've been like super high seeds. Nebraska ended up clear of the bubble last year.
Right.
And they look to be clear of the bubble so far this year as well.
Jeff texts into the show.
Hi, Jeff.
How old is this list? UCLA has lost 2 in a row and looked pretty bad.
It came out this morning.
Little Bruin bias.
But once again, like that doesn't matter. Jeff.
That doesn't matter. The coach has more energy than the team. Didn't you hear this?
You're allowed to lose. What the tier list is about is talking about your team in what
if this is the start of a 12-game slide?
74 teams. 74 teams. You think they even are aware? I mean, Borzella and Metcalf do a really good job, but like, do you think they're even really truly aware of what happened to these teams 10 seconds ago, last night, 2 nights before, 4 nights before? Like, it's about a general wave. They'll do it again in a month, probably. And then we'll be talking about the tournament bracket coming out about that. It's like, it's about a general feel about these teams. Yes. You said probably is going to be fine. Probably is going to be fine. I'm not generally, I'm not a believer in the way that they're trying to execute their basketball.
Right.
But they're talented and they're getting healthier and they have a decent coach. They'll be fine.
That's why I think your stance on UCLA is kind of weird because you don't like them.
No.
But you're like,
I would never pick them to.
They could do some things.
Do we need clarification on what I'm saying?
Well, no, I think you're actually not letting your personal biases get in the way. I think it's actually more professional of you, your stance on UCLA right now.
Like, I can say that I don't like a team. They are not my preference and still think they're good or it's a good win to beat them.
Most people would not say that, Connor.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Because I can look at the.
People are like, that team sucks.
You're probably right. I guess they would be. Wow. which is so interesting in the way that people have digested the UCLA game on Saturday.
Remember, it was a big win.
Yeah, they were number 15. And then the coach afterwards is like, well, the environment wasn't very good. And then everybody got caught up in that. And now they've lost another game, and people are like, well, they suck. Like, I thought it was a good win. It was a good win. It felt like a good win at the moment for Nebraska, a game that they certainly could have lost.
Mick Cronin was public enemy number 1 on Monday when we rolled in here.
Oh, yeah. Don't say bad things about Pinnacle Bank Arena.
No one's won a game there in forever.
I don't need to say the last team that did it, but they're local. They're local.
Maverick Mojo.
Speaking of local, the Mavs. The Mavs they got a big game tonight, UMKC. We'll talk about that when we tell you what to watch, and we will get to the poll questions, of which they are good today.
Good.
After this on 1620 The Zone. Poll questions at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. I think we had a good batch today.
Yeah, we're rounding into form here.
I'm excited to see what the results of said polls are. But first, we had a poll question that came out of the crossover yesterday. Do you like Big Map?
Yes.
Yeah, I do. Can't confirm. 81% like Big Map.
Oh, wow. Very high.
Today, are kangaroos big boys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're big boys. 86% say yes. Kangaroos are big boys. Is everyone's dad watching Landman?
Definitely.
55% say no.
Oh.
Maybe people were thinking a little bit too specific. Like, hey, my dad's not watching Landman.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sure.
You know?
Raven replied to it.
Raven. That's so Raven.
Like my dad can stream anything.
Ha!
That might be why.
Does Josh have the demeanor that says, I've got to make this guy happy?
I can see why someone said that. Yes.
50-50 at this point.
Oh, wow.
Right on the mark, according to the latest polling data, the exit polls. Have you ever bought a cake? I don't think I've ever bought a cake. I am willing to guess that I'm probably in the severe minority.
Yeah, I bought a cake.
But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the results say. No, I haven't bought a cake. 15% of people have not bought a cake.
Okay.
85% of people have bought a cake.
I like that you shared that vulnerability with us, though.
Is a Jimmy John sandwich at the end when the meat falls out a lot like Nebraska basketball in the second half of that of games?
Yeah, it's a little slippery.
80% say yes. And would your life change dramatically if you had just 4 shirts? No. No. Don't worry. Give me a week. I'll have 11 shirts. 73% say no. They would not change dramatically.
Good job, audience.
Yeah, good job by you guys.
Proud of you.
Those are the polls. What are we watching tonight?
We're watching college basketball. Number 9, UConn at Villanova, 5:30 on FS1. This used to be one of the biggest games of the year, and now it's not.
Amazing Daniel writes in, didn't you have cake at your wedding?
You didn't buy that.
Exactly. The cake was presented to me. I mean, I probably bought it indirectly, but I didn't give anybody money for a cake with my hands.
Money,
Right,
cake. Thank
right,
you.
Right. There's like, I paid money. There was a bunch of money, or my parents, my mother and father-in-law paid a bunch of money, and then there was a cake. Doesn't count. I didn't buy the cake.
Number 23, Ole Miss at Arkansas, 6 o'clock tonight on ESPN2. USC at Indiana, 6 o'clock, BTN. Number 10, Texas A&M at number 17, Oklahoma, 8 o'clock on SEC Network.
Okay.
This is ranked on ranked.
Yeah.
This is probably your Ken Palm game of the night.
Oh, great question. Let me check.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Kansas City at Omaha, 2 schools that have recently undergone name changes. Kansas City at Omaha, 8 o'clock, CBS Sports Network. You can tune in to 1290 and get Gary's play-by-play at 7:30.
Indeed, Texas A&M and Oklahoma is the Ken Palm game of the night from the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman, Oklahoma.
Connor will be in Lincoln for the women as they host number 20 Michigan State, 7 o'clock. You can watch it on Nebraska Public Media.
Putney time.
Yeah, bricking for chicken.
Watch out.
And number 4 USC and Juju Watkins, they are all the way on the East Coast. Number 8 Maryland hosting the Trojans tonight, 7:30 on BTN. NBA doubleheader on ESPN, 6 o'clock. Sneaky big game in the NBA tonight. Thunder Cavs, first time in NBA history.
Big game in the NBA.
First time in history, a team on a 15-game winning streak meets a team on a 10-game winning streak.
Okay.
So NBA Finals preview, perhaps?
Maybe.
Spurs and Bucks follows that on ESPN. NHL doubleheader on TNT. Avalanche Blackhawks at 6:30, followed by Panthers at the Hockey Club at 9 o'clock. Abbott Elementary is on tonight at 7:30 on ABC. The cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia volunteers at Abbott, and things do not go according to plan. Now,
That's a pretty good premise.
yes, both shows take place in Philadelphia. Now, this is very exciting. The cast of It's Always Sunny on Abbott Elementary. I assume there will be a flip to that, right? Where the cast of Abbott Elementary is on It's Always Sunny, where you can say and do things that you cannot say and do on Abbott Elementary.
Interesting.
So I'm looking forward to that. And at 8 o'clock tonight, right after Abbott Elementary, is Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Season premiere. Max Greenfield, you know him better as Schmidt.
29.
Camilla Luddington from Grey's Anatomy and W. Kamau Bell compete in the charity tournament.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That's what we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.
I'll be here.